Okay. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the meeting of the Ware Board of Selectmen for September 25th, 2023. We started at 6:30 with an interview with the potential building inspector candidate and a short non-public with the DPW director. Brings us to 7:13 and pledge of allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, recognize Brenda DeLong for a scholarship presentation.
Good evening. My name is Brenda DeLong. I'm with the town of Merrimack. I am the Deputy Town Clerk Tax Collector in Merrimack. However, I am here representing the New Hampshire Tax Collectors Association, New Hampshire City and Town Clerk Association Joint Certification Program, a committee that we have. It's been in around 32 years. So we offer a scholarship each year to the attendees, and Monique Nelson attended this year, and she has been awarded a scholarship. The town of Ware has paid for her to attend, which was from August 7th through the 11th, up in Concord at Primex. We have this weekly certification program, and during that time, we have a challenge for everyone that attends. And if they pass the challenge, their names all go into a hat and we draw one. It pays back to the town that the person is from, which is the town of Ware. So this is called the Ann Ingmanson Scholarship. Ann Ingmanson was one of the first people to form the committee, and this certification program came about because if you go to college, you can learn business, you can learn accounting, you can learn almost anything. However, you can't learn to be a tax collector, you can't learn to be a town or city clerk. So this program was put together in order to certify all of those that are here in the state of New Hampshire. Other states have it as well. And we've named it after Ann Ingmanson because she was one of the founding members. This year, one of the challenges was finding different state parks, knowing exactly where they are, and answering questions, and Monique won. So I am here to present to the town of Ware a check reimbursing the town for her dues, not dues, the money that was paid, the membership, the, attendance. So I have that, and I would like to give that to you.
Yeah, sure.
Monique
Thank you.
is here.
Yeah, of course.
You're getting the paper.
Huh?
You go too.
Give me a good sign.
Ricky's coming too.
I'll leave my shirt off.
Lee, what you doing against with the seal in the background?
Shoulders back.
Huh?
Shoulders
Stand
down.
in the back, yeah, look good.
With the seal in the background. You get it?
Yeah.
But we took him ourselves.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well done, Monique. Nice job, Monique.
Thank you, Brenda.
Thanks for driving out.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Sure, I don't know how you got that on anyway. I'm hotter.
Big stain on the front of it. Break around the newspaper.
You're gonna look great. I'll be bringing it next week for an autograph.
Nice. Okay,
You're welcome.
all right. Congratulations and thank you.
Thank you again.
Okay, public comment.
Good evening. Gina Green, 137 Concord Stage Road in Ware. I'm bringing up case number 0318, a variance that was granted to Robin Hool and Walter Gates that no longer own the road anymore. It was now purchased by Mike Palmisano. And I was speaking to Naomi a few months ago, and we just felt the variance should be looked into again to make sure what the requirements are for building. Because back in the day, there was a few, requirements that, were asked of to build. And Mike doesn't know of, he says he doesn't know of them. The road was supposed to be widened. I don't know if you need to see, I got a few copies, but the case number will bring you up to that, to look into that, or you can't answer me.
We can. You got 5 minutes. That's the other thing, too.
Okay.
Public comments, 5 minutes.
No, I'm just saying, I had some, I want
Okay,
this
well, I mean, we can take it. It's fine.
to be looked into, and I just want to know what the legalities are for the whole land. The second page is only, not the whole minutes, but
Right.
this is the beginning of it.
Right.
So, Gina, when you get back to
Yes.
podium, I just have a quick question for clarification, just before we go any further.
You know it. Yes,
So, the property has been transferred from the original owner who applied to zoning
For
for
the
the
variance.
variance?
yes,
Okay. And the new owner is assuming that the variance granted the previous owner,
Transfer it over.
it now transfers with it.
he is unsure, because when he goes into the other office there, the women that work there are telling him a different story. So when I got this printed, I think it was May
18.
of last, I don't have that copy.
2018.
Yeah, sorry, thank you. No, May, when they printed my copy for me. Oh, when I came in and they gave me the variance, because I didn't have a copy of it, the recent variance, they said, oh, no, that's a private road. You can both drive up and down. And I said, oh, no, when the variance was granted, there was stipulations here, there was 6 stipulations that was required. Our house is grandfathered in, that we're living in. I think it was built in '86. We've been there since '98. I think it's old, Meany's old house. And it's just, there is no way 2 cars are gonna go up and down that road. So that's our concern. He is starting to clear. I don't even know if anyone's gonna be building. The land seems to be like hoaxed or something. I don't know what it is, but I just want to know moving forward what is required and how, when he does build a home, how we were gonna function with 2 homes driving in and out.
Is this just beyond Blackbirds?
Yes,
Well, I mean, that would
I think it's
go
just,
to, that would go to, planning would have
okay.
say about that.
So when a variance is granted, does that stays with the land, or it goes with each owner? Like, how does that,
Yeah, I don't think I can answer.
We'll get back to you on that
we'll
one.
get, back- yeah, we'll get back. I just don't know, I know I spoke to Naomi a few
Or we'll have
months
somebody get
ago.
back to you on it.
Yeah.
It may not be us, but,
But that's fine, it's
There was a
just,
change in the law, I don't remember the date,
okay.
so.
right.
But it's a narrow road. I mean, even when my husband's coming home and I'm coming out, it's like somebody's gotta back
Somebody's
all
gotta
the
give.
way up. I know the town did do some pruning and they cut some shrubbery and everything that was excellent. That helped out a lot, because it was overgrowth, and we've been maintaining, we've been there for 26 years, so we've been maintaining the road, we've been pruning, and it's just, is it a town road, or is it a private road? Like,
Or is
who owns it?
Yeah,
So-
or is it just yeah,
Or a class 6, or whatever, I
Yeah.
don't know all the things.
right
but-
away type thing, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
so
All right.
that's my only concern, and if you can look into that and just get back to me.
Sounds good.
All right, I thank you so
you.
much.
Thank you, Gina.
Anybody else for public comment?
Thank you. Frank Campana. I have this scripted, and I'm going to vary from the script to make it hopefully a little speedier. Your September 11th meeting, the police chief was here to, I think for the second time, to discuss a highway grant. It was a combined grant. It was a total of, it was two-part, speed enforcement and then speed equipment, so road signs, et cetera. It was an almost a $19,000 grant. The matching funds were about $5,500 from the town. I couldn't get the numbers to match up, but that's what it was. 2,500 of that matching fund was for the speed equipment. And the reason I wanted to review it, the police chief proposed at that time that that money, that $2,500, would come from, he proposed it would come from year-end overages. Well, not actually overages. It would come from year-end funds, is what he said. He had three areas. One was the Everett Dam control revenue. The other was from, well, actually, he had three, the Everett Dam, and he didn't say the budget himself. He couldn't remember the third one. He only remembered two, and then Selectman Hippler reminded him, I guess, of a previous meeting, blush of the grant. Selectman Hippler said, you thought, he said, the police chief said, that would be the budget. So it would be the Everett Dam control, the budget, and whatever the other one he couldn't remember. Selectman Hippler said that there was no discussion yet for year-end funds or year-end purchases. Selectman Moore, Police Chief Moore said he wouldn't have the money from his budget. Selectman Moore, again, Police Chief Moore said he would have money from year-end salary lines because he's missing a couple of positions. And he continued that the bottom line, with the bottom line, he would easily have it in his budget. So it was a little conflicting what he said. When he said he wouldn't have it in his budget, he was referring to any line items in his budget. But the bottom line budget of the budget, he would easily have it in his budget. So my comment is, we already have one department head that is publicly looking for year-end surplus expenditures. Probably others are, but he came forward and said that. And my concern is that prior to this, the budget we're on now, which is the proposed budget got passed, which should have covered all expenses, because that's what you proposed for the town and that's what they voted on. You know, it should not lead to year-end purchases, any overages. Okay, when we were in the several years of default budgets, the town was relying on unfulfilled position money to fund various things from the budget. That should not be the case this year that you have a proposed budget. So it'll be interesting to see how that develops, and I will have a further comment on the police chief's salary line overages, but I'll save that for another time. So that's my concern, okay? How much you guys gonna, how about the taxpayers? You got your proposed budget, it should cover all expenses.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Frank. Any more? Okay. Move on to department head committee items. Recognize Denise Purington.
In Janine has asked me to kind of oversee the capital improvement process this year, and I wanted to follow up from the site walkthroughs that we did. I have been to CIP, but I need some guidance and some clarification from the select board before I go too much further, or the committee goes too much further. So I put a packet together. Hopefully you each have it in front of you. So this is just a recap. So we did the walkthrough on the East Road property and on the Thorndike, Innocent Field property. And I think after the walkthrough, most of us felt that Thorndike just wasn't a viable,
Quaker Street.
Quaker
I'm
Street.
sorry, I live on Thorndike, so I'm saying
That's okay.
Quaker Street, because of the wetness and the grade down. So our focus has been on the East Road property. So in the packet, I tried to do this kind of so I could take you through it. I came down here and I pulled some documents out of the file just to get a sense of what the property is, what it's all about, conservation easements, all of those things, to see if, when we got done, we all thought the front part might have some viability for fields, but wanted to make sure I knew what was going on with the property. So what you have in front of you, the first few pages, is just really the maps that are in the files of the, I think it's just 129, just shy of 130 acres that are there. And I highlighted in red the front part because that's the part we were looking at. There is, if you note on the map, it sounds like the first time this map was drawn, they left out what's labeled parcel A. And so this was corrected, this map was corrected to make sure that got put back in. So it's really just a layout of the property for you guys to see what I pulled from the file. Then Salem was able to find some minutes to the Conservation Commission meeting, which led us to think that there might be a conservation easement on the whole property, and therefore it might make it impossible for us to do anything. So I actually went back to, found the warrant article, and that's what you have next, Article 29. And what I included in there was the public discussion of the purchase of that property and the funding sources that were recommended to purchase that land. What I found interesting here, just again, I've highlighted it, and I'm not sharing any opinions, but just a thought, where my thought process in the committees has been going. In this particular article, they discussed 20 acres of property will be set aside for future recreational facilities and gravel pit for the town. And then they went on to discuss the funding source, and also that they would set aside land for use for the gravel and some other property for future ball fields. So in the public discussion, it wasn't tied to take all the gravel out and then use that land. It looked like it was discussed as maybe two. I'm just reading it. I'm not saying it's correct or not, but I just highlighted what the public comment was. Anyways, you'll be able to read this. And then I went on to then copy the next, I went for the actual vote, so you have a copy of what was voted. So you'll have an opportunity to look at the discussion, and the town did obviously vote for the land to be purchased and some land to be set aside for future recreational facilities and gravel pit. So it really, there's some areas there to think that maybe it doesn't have to be the same piece of property. And somewhere I read, and I'm not sure I highlighted it, but it actually, somebody talked about there being 12 acres set aside for gravel pit, 20 for a recreational facility, and the remaining 117 to be put into conservation. So as you read through that, I think you might see that. So then that was March of 2013. Then in December, the Conservation Committee minutes is your next page, where they began to talk about the purchase of that land and what to do with it. And this is where we started to see language around a gravel pit, then turning into recreational field. However, to me, it doesn't seem like it stayed in line with what the voters voted for, but I did reach out to the Conservation Commission. I asked if I could be on their next meeting. I even asked if they would call me, but nobody has reached out to me, because I would
Like, just come. It's open to the public.
yeah, so I'm gonna try to go to the October meeting.
It'd be nice for her to be on the agenda though, so we can be
Exactly,
prepared.
yeah.
Well,
Yeah, so I did put that request out to the chair, so I'll try to reach out to him again. So here's what happened. I was able to get the deeds, the warranty deed, the fiduciary deed here. I could see no deed, any documentation about a conservation easement on that property. I went to the Hillsborough County Registry of Deeds. I did a search for multiple years. I did a search for every property with a conservation easement, and this property never came up. Other properties came up, but this one didn't. So I spoke with Terry Knowles. Somebody suggested I speak with Terry Knowles. She's a citizen. Most of you know her, and she's
Oh,
done
yeah.
a lot of work in the state. She recommended that I call the New Hampshire Forestry Division, because if you read the minutes, that's where that land was supposed to go. The woman there was great. She asked for 24 hours. She did some research. She got back to me. And nowhere in her records does the state of New Hampshire Forestry hold this property for conservation. She went to Granite View, which is a software program UNH has that houses all conservation property for the state of New Hampshire. And that's when you start to see this in your packet. I actually went into Granite View. It is open to the public. I looked up that property, and you're going to see that the protection level is listed as unofficial conservation land. From her records, this land was never put into conservation, which is why I haven't been able to find any kind of documentation. I just gave you some examples of the lands around it when you go into Granite View. So the next page is another piece in that same area where that has permanent conservation land listed in the database, as does another piece of property near it. Just as an FYI, the property right beside it with the red barn on it is also listed as unofficial conservation land. So here I am. And I just did a Google Earth, I know we all walked through, but just so as we're talking. So the reason I'm here today is we just need some guidance. And I'm not necessarily looking for an answer today, although I will be going to CIP on Wednesday to finish out the process. When we did the walkthrough, we talked about the potential front property, because it was flat, for recreational use, fields, whatever we might do. And then beyond the gate as potential parking, which is what I've highlighted in red. So based on everything I found, it feels like there's no conservation easements that would keep us from moving forward. However, I don't know what the next steps are here. Is it something the Board of Selectmen has to take action on? Does the Conservation Commission need to take action on?
It says right here, great homework too, by the way, that Article 29, and it looks like was put forward towards the voters, the town further to authorize the selectmen to convey the certain conservation easements. So it sounds like it's our
To us,
decision,
yeah.
So,
and it hasn't been done. So
Right.
I've always been in favor if there's gonna be fields to be that spot.
Right.
I never knew all this.
Right.
I don't know how I mean, to go to CIP, you're going for numbers for a budget, so I don't know if you plan on just getting preliminary for design.
so what I originally started out with was to put some money aside. I asked for $35,000, that we could hire somebody. In the meantime, I identified 3 engineering firms in New Hampshire that have either done recreational fields, recreational parks, or college fields. I reached out to all 3 of them to ask them to call me. One of them did. They are going to do a mock-up free of charge. They understand this is a municipality, everything will have to go out to bid. But she took the property address, gave her the tax maps, and she's actually gonna try to give me an estimate of what it would cost over a period of time, because I don't think we want to do anything all in one year. What I'd like to see is a 3 to 5 year plan. So to be able to go out to bid with a firm, get all the site work that is necessary to be done, get the layout for how many fields. I know WAC and Ware Athletic Club and the Generals Football had come here. We've met with them, they've laid out their needs. I relayed those to this woman who is gonna try to see how much they could
They
get
can
in.
fit in there.
And last year, when I was here for parks on the Capitol for the tennis courts, I was asked by you guys in CIP, what would it look like if we were to move it entirely, if this piece of property was ever to come up? So I've asked her to put that in. Would it take away from field? What would it cost? Would it be cost effective? So I'm waiting for that to come back. Parks and Rec goal would be to go to CIP with a 5-year plan, if we get the green light to be able to use this land, to say, over a 3 to 5 year period, what would it cost and how many fields could we add each year? WAC is giving us their priority, so they want 7 fields, but they've given us their number 1, their number 2, their number 3, so we kind of have that laid out. So I'm really here because if I get the information from this woman that would help me put together a proposed capital plan, 5-year plan, what do I need to do to know that I'm not wasting my time if somebody comes along and says, sorry, we don't want Parks and Rec to use this property?
Right.
So that's why I'm here tonight, just to tell you what I found.
Yeah,
And
I mean, I
that's
think, I personally, I think that there's enough there. I think that there's enough background from multiple board meetings, there's enough background from the state. Obviously Terry's involved, and thank her for her time. I think that probably, at this point, with all the research, I think so we make sure it would go to some kind of legal, just to make sure that we can do that with all of this. Again, the players we talked about, the conservation involved. Again, I'm for a 5-year plan for that. I think, again, I agree with you, Ben, that's the spot. If there's gonna be a spot, that's the spot.
Right.
But I just wanna make sure that before we break ground, and before, again, you sink
Right.
much more time into it,
Right.
that we can put it there according to everything that we have in front of us.
Right.
But
or available.
in the interim, this person is gonna put this plan
Yes,
together.
and I've asked her if possible to have it for me for Wednesday morning, because I'm going back to CIP, and Jack had wanted a little bit more specific than just
Yeah.
the 1 year. The problem is I don't know.
You don't know,
And
right.
it's taken me all week to really
Compile
dig
this
in and
information.
get
yeah.
all this information and talk to the people and have them get back to me. So my fingers are crossed that she's gonna get back to me by Wednesday, but she will have, even if we needed to.
A loose number.
To go with a warrant article, by then I would definitely have a number that would say, here's how we could lay it out over a 5-year plan.
Right.
With the first year going out to bid to a firm to help us at least lay out the property.
Yeah.
And see what we needed.
Groundwork or
I
something.
Yeah.
don't see why she couldn't go to, hopefully legal doesn't come back and say we can't, and you wasted your time, but I don't see why you couldn't proceed with your CIP if that
Okay.
woman can get you your, yeah, I think it's great, whether people agree or disagree with it, that the ball fields have been a talk since I've worked for the town, and no one's ever come up with a plan.
Right.
So there's a plan.
Right.
Whether they vote on plan or not, it's up to them, but at least there's a plan, and it looks,
Right.
it's good.
And I did go back to the master plan for CIP. The master plan does indicate that additional ball fields in a recreational facility, not a building, but a place,
Place.
which is why it would be nice if we could move the tennis court there, because then you'd have
Right.
everything in one place.
Right.
Less porta potties, all of those other things.
Right.
Right.
So the master plan supports what Parks and Rec is looking to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm more than happy to continue to do as much work as I need to, but only if I know that we
It's
have a
hard to
shot.
drop off a group of kids when some like to
Right,
play basketball and the
Right.
others like the skateboard park, and skateboard park's over
Right.
there and the basketball.
right,
And,
right.
I really think that was part of the problem with the skateboards on the tennis court. It wasn't malicious, they
Right.
didn't know where to do it.
Right.
So,
Right.
And I do, just a separate comment, I at the tennis courts last week repairing some cracks when two tennis players came in. They're longtime residents of where they've been playing tennis there for many, many years. They expressed sort of like concern that, you know, the town has taken a lot of land in conservation, but then it gets tied up and then we need to do these kinds of things and we don't have the ability to do it. So this seems like the perfect storm, if you will, that maybe
Right.
the conservation papers didn't get filed, but we have the voters sort of what they wanted. And maybe this is our opportunity to say, let's take 20 acres of this property, do fields and parking, you know, and I've asked this woman, I want to make sure parking never overflows into the east road or into the
To the
access
access
road.
road, yeah.
So that, you know, really looking at that behind the gate, parking, adequate parking so that we're not dealing with traffic on the road. So, you know, we're trying really hard to think this through, but I just need a little bit of guidance, so.
I mean, I don't have a, like Ben said, exactly, I can, you know, echo that is, I don't have a problem with what you're doing right now as far as getting that 5-year range plan.
Okay.
I would say that's a go, but again, before we commit the property to it,
Yeah.
I would say definitely, you know, again, where there's gonna be, no, there's no funding
Yeah.
for what you need.
Yeah.
And then hopefully we can get a stamp.
Yeah.
Either way, and again, even after CIP, it still has to be approved by this board to make the
Yeah.
warrant,
Yeah.
so,
We have a little time.
there is some time,
Yeah.
you know, so I think we
Yeah.
could definitely get a legal opinion on that and say, you know, with all the facts compiled, is this viable?
Right.
But
So
I,
who-
but I think
who-
it's a good,
Who moves it to legal, is that?
we would.
You would, okay.
Yeah, we would.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm,
Denise, I have one question for you. First, well done.
Yeah, very well
Tremendous,
done. Yes, very well
tremendous
done.
amount of research. The right-of-way
yep,
that gets us there, have you investigated that at all?
I haven't, only because,
Yeah, I
yeah, I'm
just-
limited in my
yeah,
knowledge, by
yeah,
the way. I'm
yeah.
doing the best I can
Yeah.
with what little
Yeah.
knowledge I have.
You might, just before you get too far down the road, sometimes right-of-ways or rights to pass and repass can be conditional, like there can be a use. I don't know the history of this property, but I'd hate to see you get to a point that, you know, you get approval to build something, but then the abutters say, no, sorry, that the right-of-way or right to pass and repass was granted with these conditions, and now we don't want to flow of traffic 24/7
So I've been
going.
through the whole file, and I did not see any documents like that at all.
But where is that right-of-way?
Part of when I look at these maps, it looks like we own the property right to the road line.
Yeah, that's where, well,
And
that's
There
why.
are easements, there are utility easements that were granted to the surrounding properties. So that I could see utility easements and those
So
types
why
of
wouldn't,
things.
if that's the case, why wouldn't, as long as we were at it, why wouldn't we grant the entire 20-acre parcel, or looks to me like if that back piece is 17 plus, we probably are looking at somewhere around 20.
So please note that red circle I drew.
Yeah.
It's just,
Rough.
I have no idea where the property lines are.
Yeah,
So
that
it-
front section's not ours, Kevin.
Yeah, I didn't think so either.
it's not
Well,
ours.
I
Yeah.
thought that's what you just stated.
No.
But
no.
I was always on, I mean, this is the most literature I've ever seen on it, and I worked out there, but I was never sure if we owned the road or if we had the right of way to the road.
So I have not been able to find anything like
I
that.
think we own it by the looks of it, yeah.
And
You had to make frontage to make that lot.
Yeah.
There had to be some frontage.
so that,
50
if
feet.
you look at that strip that goes up, it kind of looks like that's where the
Oh,
road
that's right, you
is.
gave us that.
Yeah, there's a map, yeah.
Yeah, and there is a lot of, there's 3 or 4 maps in there, if you know how to read those kind of maps. I could see easements on there, but they all look like utility and water easements. Almost like that road is part of our property. Now, I would want, again, Parks and Rec would want to be respectful to the neighbors
Sure.
of the abutting property. You don't want cars parked all up and down there, but I kind of got the feeling, but again, this is why it probably should go to legal or somebody else to make sure I haven't missed anything.
Yeah.
But at least I gave you a starting point.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what
yeah.
is your timeline? So we'll take it to legal. What is the absolute latest you would need to hear something back?
Well, I'm going to keep moving because, again, as you mentioned, even regardless of what CIP says, we're gonna come back to get approval if we wanted to do a warrant article. By then, I should have heard from this woman, and I can give you some sense of what a 5-year plan looks like. And if we wanted to do at least the site survey layout in the first year, what would that cost?
Right.
So what would we be looking at to raise
I
funds?
think that's a good idea.
Now, I will say that, we did discuss from a funding perspective for that first year, depending on what the cost is, what do we have in revenue from Chase Park? And where Athletic has indicated that they might be willing to donate some additional funding, if need be, to get that first bit of site work done, depending what the cost is. If it's 75, 80,000 for that first piece, I'm not sure we can swing that, but say it's 40 to 50, then, there's some possibilities there. So I'm, trying to get all the pieces in place so we could figure out what that was.
Sure.
But at the very least, I'd have that 5-year plan and say, we'd like to craft a warrant article to look at executing the first year of that, to at least get a layout done. And then each year you can go back to the voters to say, how many fields do we want to add in any given year? We know we have 3 to 5 years for the tennis courts. 1 year is gone, so let's say we have 4 more years with the tennis courts. That could be, say, out in the 5th year, potentially. If there was room, I wouldn't want, I don't know if we'd want to take away fields to put a tennis court, but then again, it may be cost-effective to just redo it and give that land back to the town.
Okay.
Yeah, that's, because where the tennis courts are now is a nice spot in town.
Yeah,
And, Legion's always full, always talk of library expansion.
yeah.
Something I wanted to mention while we're talking about, what are we allowed to do? The money that went towards the purchase of that came from 3 different sources?
I think it's written,
Conservation,
it was,
Mildred Hall.
Mildred Hall,
and-
Conservation, somebody's forestry.
And forestry.
Yeah.
No, it was 380 from the taxpayers.
Yeah, the taxpayers.
Yeah.
The other one.
There was talk about giving some land to PLC, but I don't think they put a hand in.
And the Russell Foundation's dissolved.
That was it.
Right.
It's
Russell,
dissolved.
okay.
And to that, that the money came from 3 sources lends credence to me that it was not intended for one single use across the entire property.
Correct.
People each were buying in, piece of it for that, piece of that. And as we're talking about.
We got a big lot, but it was, everybody was buying
Yeah.
a chunk for a reason.
Yep.
Right.
Right.
Separate, I don't want to take up any more of your time, but one other quick question. If we were to get approval for a 5-year plan, is Parks and Rec as a commission allowed to do any type of, lack of a better word, fundraising? If you wanted to say with a project like this, hey, you can name the field for a certain, can we go out and do any type of, you could name the whole park, you could name one field, you could name,
Have your sign on the fence like they do down in the
My gut,
maybe more than a sign, that would be part of it.
my gut feeling says no,
I'm curious, because we had the warrant article about park taking in money. I'm curious how that was written, though.
but that was more, I think that was specifically written for Chase Park.
It was written for Chase Park, but it was amended
Yeah.
to
It could
be
be
more
used-
generic. And I'm
Yeah.
wondering how
It
generic
can
it
be
became.
used
It can
for
be used for
fields
anything.
and stuff.
But my
Is it
question
just
was,
like
if we
field
did a
usage?
capital,
But the actual do fundraising, like,
Right.
hold a sign, I think my
can we
gut
do a
says
capital
no.
campaign? No.
My gut says no.
But could we get somebody, say WAC wanted to do a capital campaign and then donate?
WAC is a 501, they can do what they please.
Okay, all right.
And then if they raise a bag of money and they wanted to donate to the town,
Yep.
then we would accept it. But I don't think the town entity can actually fundraise.
Can a town entity accept a donation if somebody wanted
Yeah, we
it
have to have
named
a
after?
We have to have a public
So
hearing and it has to
Okay.
come through this board.
Okay.
Right.
All
So
right.
before she slips away, I forwarded you an email from Terry Knowles that gave her side of what we should do. And again, Terry's been at the AG's office for years, she's retired, she was on the Selectmen and every other board here. But she felt that the Selectmen and the Mildred Hall Committee should meet to discuss the town's plan for recreational field develop, or recreational development. And the Russell Foundation dissolved several years ago. The 20 acres should be identified in a plot plan so there won't be any issues in the future as to where exactly the gravel pit and the recreation area are located. Either the Society for the Protection of New Hampshire Forests or the Piscataquag Land Conservancy should be contacted about taking an easement on the property, since the warrant article required that. And I think she's right, because we went to the taxpayers and sold them
Yeah.
this, and this is what you were gonna get, and it
Right.
didn't finish, but I think we have to finish it as to what was voted on.
Oh, I
That's the
think
only
before,
shift.
before we break ground or put new intentions on there, I think we absolutely have to firm that up.
In the forestry, the state, the woman that helped me out, said they would be more than happy
Yep.
to entertain taking over and
Because
helping.
Brian Hotz worked in 2015, there's some email exchange, he worked with conservation on that.
Yeah.
And then the airways went quiet, so
Yeah.
he assumed that it didn't pass or
Right.
we didn't want it.
Right, so
So
they're more
that's
than
where it got
happy to
dropped.
step in
Yep.
if we went that route. She said, you know, reach back out to her with the right person, whatever, but, all right, thank you so much for your
Yeah.
time.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thanks Denise, see you Wednesday.
the only concern I have is that the selectmen were authorized to convey certain conservation easement over the portion of that property. Obviously never got done.
Never got done.
No, but that's what we were talking about finishing.
That's what we're just talking about
That's what
finishing.
Sherry said, we gotta finish, because that's what you went to the taxpayers, and that's what they voted for.
Yeah, and-
Perfect,
and- and
perfect opportunity
And
to,
this is.
To firm all that up and finish
Can I,
it.
yeah, and this is, just for clarity for me, this was an issue 10 years ago?
20, yeah, it's been 10 years.
2013, yeah,
Yeah, 13 went to the voters.
80%.
So you never really had to worry about your gravel bank?
well, I guess not.
No.
I think it kinda worked out, whether it's approved or not, that, it's not for us to say, but if there's gonna be, that's the spot, and I just figured it would never come to life, cause there had to be some rule over it that would stop it, and it doesn't sound,
No, doesn't sound like it.
no.
Not now, because it never got finished. It got
So
voted in,
how-
but never got finished.
Hay season, by the way, I'm sure is over, but we need to find out about that.
Yeah,
Yeah, I already did that research, so.
Yeah.
So he's forwarding the.
Insurance and
his
stuff.
Information, I
Well, it ought to
believe.
go up
But
bid.
he's never been given permission to be down there at all.
well, at
Not on
any,
that property.
no, but at any
No, but
rate,
that-
He
that's-
wasn't the prior owner.
Right,
The
but,
prior owner hired him to do the hay.
yeah, and luckily for us, it's been maintained to keep the wood lines from caving in
well,
the
yeah,
last
but
10
it
years.
could, I mean, I guess, argument for another day, other than it irks me a little, because one thing will say, okay, this guy can do it, and the next thing we gotta go around the whole.
Oh, no, we can't, this season's over, but we basically, he still has stored material out there and he still has stored equipment there, and we need to get the liability issue under control.
At
That's
least
number
that,
one.
yeah.
So that part is happening, and then that is going to be part of this list. If we're gonna continue to hay it, we're gonna have to have an RFP out on that.
Yes.
Right,
He
So
could
that's-
rent the fields.
well,
He could rent the fields from
or
us.
Well, it'd be an
buy
RFP,
buy the
but-
product or whatever.
But if we
Yeah, or a
decide this
service-
year that
Service
it's,
agreement, whatever, but some, I
if we
mean,
decide this year that we're gonna allow them to move on the fields, it's a mute point,
yeah,
but
exactly.
it needs to go out to bid, anyway.
Yeah, I mean, everybody should have a shot at it, right, I agree.
Okay.
I mean, if the property is totally in conservation, just, again, just pause for a second, Ricky. But if the property was under the oversight of Conservation Commission, then they could enter into a service agreement for him to mow that field for, $1 a year.
Which was my uneducated guess, is that's what I thought.
Right.
That's not the case.
But.
Right,
what
it seems
we-
like,
so-
everything
and
gets
that's-
untied there, yeah.
Yeah, so, okay, just, let me just play village idiot for a second. Is now, with the fact that we realize that we did not act on this, conservation still believes that they have control of this property. They're still under that assumption. So who's gonna notify them that they don't?
Well, I think we need to, I think that this is a twofold thing, is there was conservation notification that never took place, so in theory, it's
It's in
able.
limbo.
It's enabled, but it's in limbo, but I think that that's gonna be part of this whole,
I think-
we're contacting legal to find out.
I think maybe possibly we ought to, just to cover us, looks like she did very
her
good
homework,
homework. but
yeah.
Maybe somebody here can check our actual records and make sure that,
She went through our records.
She went
Oh,
through our
that's all
records,
right,
yeah.
okay.
She spent a couple days.
I just hate to tell them that and then be wrong.
Right,
No,
well,
no,
and that's
no,
what I mean.
where she got some of those
I think that's where some of this research is gonna overlap with finding out if we can do this, is, I think some of that research is gonna overlap to say whether it's conservation or not,
So, what I have.
officially, I should say.
So what I'm trying to establish here is what is the bridge of communication I mean, we just unfolded or just realized that we have a 10-year-old situation. Conservation thinks that have full control of this property for the last 10 years. We just realized that they didn't, that now the property is back under our control, we think.
Well,
Okay.
don't you think that they probably thought that it was under conservation because the selectmen were told to go ahead with that
They never did it.
and never did it? So the
Oh, no, I'm
selectmen
not
are-
blaming anyone or saying.
I'm not
but I just
saying that.
wanna-
I'm just
What I
letting you
want to
know.
do is, the question came up, how do we handle the farmer who's farming the property? Last week, it wouldn't be our job.
Right.
This week, it appears now it is our job. Do I understand that? Am I,
Seems that way.
It seems that way.
yeah, so,
And that's what I mean, I think that they would overlap each other, figuring out if we can use that front side, and I think at that point, because there's gonna be deed research, et cetera, and obviously all the research that Denise did is gonna come into play, that legal would say, yes, you can, no, it was never put in conservation, so that's why you can, et cetera, et cetera. I think that's all gonna come out.
the way it's been researched, I agree,
Correct.
I agree too. So Sherry, are you going to be, in the October meeting in Conservation, are you gonna be the liaison from the board who's going to communicate that this is currently at the Board of Selectmen, and appears that the property never actually was transferred into conservation?
And we will ask
And we
town
already-
council about that.
We're already looking into it.
Might hear an
Yeah.
answer
And
before that meeting.
We're already
Yeah,
looking
and
into it.
yeah, that should be done prior to that meeting, but will you be that liaison?
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, that's all, I just don't want all of a sudden them carrying on for another year thinking, and then all of a sudden, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
Well, in fact, maybe you should invite the conservation board to come in. After you figure out what the
After we
attorney
get
says.
the
Well, I think after we figure everything out, yeah, then we
I
can.
think you'd be better off to have
'Cause I
them
think-
all come in so they understand, because
Well, I think then you can make those conservation area, right? We can start mapping, or rough drawing, I should say, where
Because-
we're thinking.
I was on the Mildred Hall Committee at that point, and when that was discussed, and it went on for a long time, we came here for quite a few selectmen's meetings, so I think if you go back through the minutes of the selectmen, you'll see it. I believe Tom Clow was asked if he understood what was going on, and it was that there was 8 acres in the pit and 12 acres for ball fields, and the pit was gonna be reclaimed, and they were gonna clear property off by the pit to make it a 20-acre parcel, that they weren't to touch the fields, that the fields were agricultural. That's what the deal was.
Right, but that ain't what went to the voters, and that's not what the voters voted on, so.
Well, they voted for conservation property, is what
It's
they
right
voted.
here.
Yeah, it voted
But
that
it-
the selectmen
But
would,
it also says
Convey it.
recreation.
Right.
One article right there. To further authorize the selectmen to convey certain conservation easements over the property. And it goes on, and then 20 acres of property be set aside for future recreational facilities and gravel pit for the town.
It doesn't say afterwards, it says and, like
Right.
additionally.
yeah, well, it
That
was-
might have
it
been
was 20
somebody's
acres
wishes or
total.
whatever, but I guess what we need to do is see what
Yeah, I
legally
think
can
we
be,
gotta
and then we
really-
can take a vote here
Yeah.
if we wanna do that, but.
Well, I
So
think,
the end goal will be to acquire the 20 acres for the future development of rec property. And then the balance of property would then go back into conservation. Correct?
with a certain amount, I think, what was it, 6 or 8 acres as a gravel pit?
Right, which I think a survey would be great, because by looking at this, I'm gonna be surprised if you can squeeze 15 acres out, so, you know.
Yeah.
But whatever, I think
Yeah, yeah.
her getting that survey, we just need to find out if we legally can,
Can utilize that area
right, and
as such.
Yeah. So then,
And
okay,
give her
so the
permission.
sooner, as we get the answer on this, again, I've gotten a little bit educated since our site walk into whatever, this all sort of unfolded from the site walk, but, we have processed materials sitting on that property that if legal says that property still is under our watch, we then will begin to
We'll get in.
pull that material out of
Well, I
there.
think we can do the intent to,
process
AOT.
it, pull it out anyway.
Don't you have to file your AOT?
that's what I'm saying, AOT. At that point, we could file the AOT and take it.
AOT banks head, and then we should have
continued it.
transferred the AOT to us.
To do any more digging, we need that, why can't we take the piled up on the road?
I don't know the AOT rules, but I know it should have transferred to our name when,
When it came out of,
right, we didn't.
Yeah, well, my interest and only interest is that we have processed material we paid for
Right.
that I want access to, so that I'm not buying
more,
other processed material when I actually own some.
That's right.
right.
So that's what I'm trying to expedite.
Yep. So I guess, all right, let's try and clear up what we're inquiring of legal. A would be use of the land, specifically the front field areas for recreational purposes.
The 20 acres that was designated,
Right.
is in the warrant article.
B would be, was it ever placed into conservation? According to our records and research, and Denise's research, it was not. But was it? And I believe 3 would be, can we, with or without an AOT, remove that processed material? And continue the work in there?
I'm sure we'd have to redo the AOT to continue work, but.
Does that sound reasonable to everybody?
Yeah. Conservation paid last year to have it blazed.
No?
So you want to, one, know the use of the land, specifically can the front field be used for recreational purposes? 2, was it ever placed into a conservation easement? And 3, can we with or
Yeah.
without move, that doesn't make sense.
Well, do we need one, or do we not need
Oh,
one? An AOT
gotcha.
to remove the processed material that's sitting there.
I'd go get processed material before I heard from the attorney.
So that's, do you want me to send the package that she did for research? It would save us some.
I think it
time.
would, yeah, I
Yeah,
think,
if
I
those
think,
are our documents, yeah, fine.
I absolutely would, yeah, I think
Is that all of them, do you know, Naomi, or are these just pieces of them?
I didn't get involved with, I know she spent a lot of time with Mary Ann downstairs.
yeah.
I just would send her everything we have on it. It looks
Yeah.
like this
She
is.
did a
It's pretty,
nice job.
it's very thorough, so I think it's only gonna help us.
Well, she
It's
hasn't
only
got
gonna
any
help.
selectmen's minutes, so you might want to pull those for 2012-13. There's no selectmen's minutes there.
Sure, well, so there are, I guess,
The only thing
because
was
I want to
article.
address some of the concerns you brought up, but first, Naomi, do you happen to know what year was this warrant that she quoted?
2013?
So the 2013
2013.
warrant, okay, because Denise included so December 2013, so after the voters had already approved this, that's what she said, that this is chronological. The Conservation Commission met, and she highlighted the part where they had a concurrent meeting with the Board of Selectmen, so there are, I think this is the quote that you were talking about. Jumping into a part of this highlight, mentioned the conditions that were attached to the commission's funding pledge, including management of the property's conservation land, less the 20 acres would be set aside for gravel extraction and reclamation as athletic fields. And the selectman, Chairman Clow, confirmed the understanding that the existing fields are to remain in agricultural use and advocated a meeting of all the many parties involved in order to address the expectations of each party. So I think that's what you said, but as Denise said, this is after the voters already approved
A warrant
how it was
article.
gonna be done.
A written
And then,
article.
sure, conservation may have come to the selectmen and said, hey, the selectmen were told, you need to go find some stuff in conservation, but as far as we can tell, they never did. So they may have talked about it once, but never acted on it,
And a gentleman's agreement almost,
yeah.
yeah. So, I think all this information though would definitely be prudent to send to
Yeah.
attorney,
Yep.
so, okay.
Yeah, and I think it'd also be prudent as soon as possible that we let conservation know our intent.
Yes, I would agree.
So as soon as possible, so that we don't get out 6 weeks and then find out that they've got some information that we wish we had before we went through all this.
Right, so I think probably before their next meeting, we'll have more information that Sherry can relay to them as far as
Okay.
our position. Does that make sense?
Great.
Maybe I'll just forward this packet to them.
For now, you could,
You know, you just tell them our intentions that we're,
yeah, you got an email, so
Right,
just forward it.
Salem sent us the email. She dropped off the hard copies today. I didn't know
Yeah.
there was an email.
So,
Yeah,
and then at least get the wheels rolling.
let them see it and go
Yep.
through it.
That's
Yeah.
fine. Okay, we'll move on. To Jason for review of job descriptions for the DPW.
I made the hard copies for you
Yep.
guys.
Yeah.
Could I ask a somewhat procedural question? We're gonna be talking the purchasing policy, and we don't have hard copies of that, but they're 8 pages each,
Oh, want me to go make them?
if you don't mind.
No, I can do that.
Yeah, I printed mine. You don't need to make mine.
Okay.
And just double check, Naomi, the one, it's the revised 2019.
Yeah, we didn't sign you.
The revised 2019.
Well, that's convenient.
It is convenient, yeah. All right. Which one you want to start with?
I guess we'll start with the highway foreman.
Ooh. One on the bottom.
I know I sent them to you guys earlier today, but
I didn't get an opportunity to read through them.
I don't know if Salem had time to go
I
through
did.
his red pen or
I
not.
did. Very, very minor edits. Very minor. Really, so a question on the foreman, and this is just a question of how you like see the role. The only thing I wrote down was, do they need any computer skills? Are they gonna be doing any grant stuff, or is it all manual labor?
It's always been kind of like a working foreman role, somebody who's out with the crew. That was my intent, to keep it that way,
Okay.
at least for the time being.
Yeah, I thought it was fine otherwise, except for, on all three of them, wrote down. Okay, at the end of examples of essential duties, and I would bet money we approve this language, so I would bet it's on us. It says, performs all other related duties within DPW as requested by the Director of Public Works, and like, you're the boss, it's not a request. So I read that, and I was like, I don't know.
As required?
Yeah,
Okay,
that was it,
that's
Okay,
fine.
so change requested to required.
on all three of them.
That pretty much eliminates that
Yeah,
gray area.
yeah.
Okay.
And then, yeah, I only had one minor remark on the equipment operator when we get there.
Anybody else, highway foreman?
I got nothing.
No, it's good to me, Jay. I mean,
It's a position I
basically what-
definitely want to fill.
basically what you want the guy to do under you, so it's up to you. I mean, I breezed through it, you know, in half a second, because I was busy at work today, but, you know, the most important part, I guess, that I always found of that position was being a supervisor in your absence, and
Yep.
as long as they understand that, you know what I mean?
Which I think could be that performed related duties.
Yeah, and I was trying to, I guess that supervision exercise kind of outlines that a little bit.
Okay. I'm good. Anybody else?
I don't have any.
Did you, yeah, yep. Yeah, the winter maintenance part, I just needed to slow down and read it, just in
Make sure
case
they
he's
know.
gotta run a snowstorm, because.
Anything, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Good
Family
enough,
emergency,
yep.
whatever.
Next one?
I guess we'll go right to operator.
The only thing I wrote down was, under supervision received, works under the general supervision of the foreman. I think it would be good to specify highway foreman,
Okay.
and that was it?
And then the required versus requested.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, Sam, that's the only, that line I didn't, I mean, at times he'd be working on direct supervision of the DPW director also, right?
Yeah,
Everybody's always on,
Yeah, well,
Okay.
that still shows up in the,
Yeah. Yeah, I know.
In the end.
whatever,
Okay,
essential
all right, I'm
duties.
fine with it.
So after, you said of the highway?
Foreman turned into highway foreman.
everybody's good with that one, we'll go
They
truck
say
driver?
required.
Yeah, required rather than requested. Yep.
And then the same foreman remark on the truck driver, and the same required remark on the truck driver.
So Jay, you're gonna adjust these and get Naomi the revised copies?
Yep.
Okay. Did you hear that, Naomi? Okay.
And, like I said, I sent you that email. hopefully get the transfer station job descriptions done this week, and then I guess that'll be the end of it for my department when it comes to this stuff.
Yeah.
Very good, appreciate it.
Thank you very much, because this is a year, we want this manual complete with all our job descriptions by year ends, and you're ahead of the game here, completing it for us, so that's wonderful. How about annual reviews? We're back to November again.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
Just I'll get some
You did 'em
sheets from
before,
them.
didn't you?
Yep,
You
I
Yep.
did them last year.
Yeah, I know it.
Yeah.
Yep, you did them last year. Yeah, so can you squeeze those in too, for us? Okay.
Okay.
And again, we want, make sure that the copies of those get to TA,
Yep.
so we can start tracking that we're doing them every year.
Mhm.
Awesome.
You came in a few weeks ago, talked about the bridge steel fabrication, you put an October 1st deadline on it.
Yep, so all the shop drawings were approved, everything's, in the works, being made. I have not made contact with the, fabricator this week yet, but I'm gonna check in with him tomorrow. I could shoot you guys an email, let you
Yeah,
know when I find out.
While reviewing the minutes, I saw it, I was like, well, we're getting close, might as well
Yep.
ask.
Yep,
Sure, that'd be great.
that's all I had for that.
Okay,
Yeah, hopefully we can get back to you in a minute too. Okay.
thank you.
So,
Purchasing policy
yeah,
review.
jump to that.
Oh, yeah, well,
Here you go.
we need them.
Oh, sorry. So I asked that this be added, after I was approached, there was a gate installed down at Bolton Field, and it was about access. It really wasn't about the gate itself, but I didn't know, I never knew the gate was going in, and so I assumed that the gate was over. Well, anyway, it was for clarification of what is the actual purchasing policy, because I've never actually laid my eyes on this document. It was my own fault for just not doing the research. But there's a couple things I'd like everybody to, if you haven't had the time, to kind of do a deep dive into this and make sure, if we don't want it, really doesn't have to be discussed tonight, but it should be added to our work session agenda. If we want to amend this, revise this, if we want to stick with the language that is in here, that items don't come before us, from the 2,500 to 3,000, 5,000 mark, that they go directly to the TA for review and approval. There's some interesting language in here that, I think we all need to be comfortable
Yeah, I
with.
think we all should read them again. Of course, some of it I am familiar, but I do remember when they did this, that
I do too.
you were on the board, and there was a fair amount of effort put into it, and department heads weighed in some, and
Oh, yeah, no, I think
It's
it's, I think
somewhat
it's very, I think it covers all the bases.
I think the
It's just-
purchases was one of the,
That was the
One
big
of the
section
big-
that was discussed right
one of the
there.
big discussers was myself, because
Cutting
everything-
edges, and I
yeah.
remember cutting edges and tires and
Yeah,
stuff like
I had to
that.
go out and research all that all over, so,
Yeah, okay, so once we agree on it, and we don't see any, I'm not trying to open a whole big can of worms here at all. It's just that we all agree on it, we get it out to department heads, we make sure that department heads are familiar with this exactly. Obviously, went the Parks and Rec, I did do the homework to figure out that the gate was $2,700 and change. I think that they followed all the necessary steps, and would have satisfied this, but it didn't make the last trip, which is to town hall, as I understand it.
Town office.
So,
Town administrator.
Town administrator.
I had that same question because the process was that it was approved for 2,700 up to 4,000. There was a quote for 27, and then it came to this building, and I don't remember if it was the town administrator or the finance director, said, no, we can't do this one quote, it has to be 3. Went back to Park, who went out, tried to get 3 quotes. Somebody didn't show up to one of the quotes, and somebody else never replied. So then at the next meeting, it was reapproved. And it's a gate repair, by the way. It's not a new install, if I remember right. Or maybe I'm mixing up Chase Park.
I think you like
Regardless.
Chase Park.
Regardless. At that point, so it was approved, and I had the same question, did it come back here? Because it had once before.
Yeah, but it clearly states
Up to
that
5,000.
shall present these quotations to the town administrator along with a recommendation for their approval. So it doesn't necessarily mean you had to take the low bidder. In the event of less than 3 quotations are available, evidence of the attempt to obtain them should be attached to the purchase order.
And we've run into that before, many times.
So that is that's just the step that we have been addressing this as a board on occasion, okay? And since I've sat on the board actually, so are we gonna stick with the purchasing policy as written and revised in 2019? Or, that's the million-dollar question right there. So going forward, this would get off to conservation, this would get off to
Well, give us-
DPW and anywhere else it has to be.
Yeah, I think we take the time, review it, in
And then it's
in
in-
front of the next work session, or
Well,
work session after that, or
I'd like
whatever.
to add a seed in every scenario that happened to me shortly after you guys did this one. I don't know if we can make language so it's not a headache for us, but shortly after this happened, the sewer, one of the pumps at the sewer station failed. There wasn't a spare. There was always a spare. The spare had gotten used, not replaced. I was made to go out to bid. I did. Everything was okay. But if that other one would have failed, because it worked all the time, that'd have been my license, and the town would have been in trouble and everything else. I don't know if there's some sort of emergency language I should have been able to just go buy a pump. But, in an emergency situation, but maybe not. Maybe you guys say no, and that's fine, but I just wanna plant that seed. That was a big deal for me at the time.
Yeah, that's good feedback.
And how much was the
So, that's what I
feedback? How
think
much was the pump?
Oh, 6,000, 7,000. It definitely was under this, but that could have been bad for my,
So
Section 11A covers
Does
it,
it cover
right
it?
there, yep. Emergency purchases.
okay.
It says right there.
See,
to
it's already here.
protect-
See, I didn't read it at
protect
the
health.
time I was told I had to go out.
To protect health and/or safety of persons or property.
Yeah, all right, then.
That covers it right there.
Covers it.
Yep, just
Unless
let,
this was wrote after and this happened before, maybe, and I complained, I don't know.
that
It's here anyway.
maybe it
so-
was in there because of that,
Yeah,
I don't
that could
remember.
be.
Yeah, that was
That
more than a
human
day ago.
health is- Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, good enough.
That was it.
All right, take a
That was-
review
that
and-
was the whole-
The biggest question I had was, it got amended 2019, but the signatures,
Or still 2014, yeah.
so,
Yeah.
Yeah, me too, and that's how
Yeah, I don't remember.
that's how the two got confused when I was trying to,
yeah.
the first one that came out before the revision. But I kept going last
Why
page.
did we
to
review
look
it
for
in
the
19?
dates.
Because I think that pump failed in like 17, it was right after they did.
Yeah.
So if nothing else, we'll update that we've accepted this and get this page,
Updated,
Updated.
and we'll get rid of the old one that's floating around.
use copy
Now, there's a
signature.
less in here that should be a fewer.
Yes, I saw.
Okay. All right, so
And I
get
think-
your red pen out and come back next Monday.
And the 2014 one, by the way, was very sexist, and it got corrected in the 29 one because it referred to town administrator and said you need to visit him or
Yeah.
see him.
Yeah,
So,
I
yeah.
remember some changes like that, yeah.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, it was written
Okay,
for.
all right, so to
Okay.
Kevin's point, take a look at it.
Yeah.
Salem, get your red pen out, there it is, right there, it's already marked.
He's at it, he's going at it
Yeah, he's
now.
going to town, and we'll just, touch upon it on next work session,
Exactly.
or after.
And get everybody, and get a fresh copy to everybody, please.
Yep,
Cool.
okay.
And it'll go
Manifest.
in the book under tab 13.
All right, or the treasurer sign payroll accounts payables checks dated September 28th, 2023, is including the following manifest. A payroll manifest of $91,780.34 for weekly, monthly, and quarterly payroll. Accounts payable of $51,520.63. Accounts payable for John Stark, $250,000, and Ware School District accounts payable, $250,000, for a total of $643,300.97. Is there a second?
Second,
Moving second, all in favor?
yes.
No,
Opposed? No? The ayes have it.
Wait a minute,
3 yes, 2 no.
okay,
Who's it? No.
3 yes,
Ben?
Who's the other one?
Me?
2 no.
Well, is this something we should discuss?
I just one department, every single employee had overtime this week. And
Yeah,
about just getting the end of the year, and
things are getting tighter.
we should, I should have sent an email out earlier and asked to have a question asked if it was approved or not.
There's also another department too, that I didn't like,
They got overtime? Is that what you said? Okay.
so, that's all. It's
And I
just,
didn't, the only reason I chose not to call it out, which I have to, I will, I just, in all fairness, I should have emailed Naomi and asked the department head, and I didn't have
Right.
time, so.
but. Okay,
Because there might have been
So,
good reasons.
something to keep an eye on for,
future. Yep,
I don't want to lambaste the blindside the department head if there's.
right. Now, in retrospect, we have been in lockstep before on a no vote. And I believe that we found legally you have to do payroll because it's hours worked, correct? Wasn't that what it was? Remember, we actually had a no vote. And we ended up pulling a manifest and/or something.
I don't think you can stop payroll.
You can't stop
have to
payroll.
legally
That's,
check.
yeah, legally you can't stop payroll.
Payables, you have pulled a check before.
We have pulled a check before, okay, right, that's where I was trying to get to, okay, yeah. So,
Because payroll,
Yeah, you have to pay.
we'll have to talk to the department head.
yeah, you have to pay, you have to payroll, so. Okay, we'll move on to the minutes real quick here. So 8:21. I gotta go back in my downloaded stuff. 8:21, where are you? You're here somewhere, there you are, right there. Okay, 8:21,
line 21.
yes.
I think that would be more accurate that Mr. Campana asked the Board of Selectmen to let people know when an agenda item will not be heard. It makes it sound like people are being shut down, but it's not.
Oh. Presented the board selectmen documents.
So we asked the board, oh,
To let, yeah, I don't have it in front of me, but it said something like, let people know when they won't be heard. But that's not, I don't think that was his intent.
Yeah, I think it was the topic,
Right.
that the topic was not gonna
Yeah,
be discussed that
and
night.
so I wrote that as, ask the BOS to let people know when an agenda item will not be heard.
That's more accurate, I believe,
That is correct.
yes. Anything else on one?
Line 71, whatever page that is.
Line 71, that's page 2.
The spelling of the word aerial.
It's not Ariel.
Yeah, it's
We're not under
the
the C.
font, yeah.
We're not under the C, yeah.
what number?
71,
Line 71, Arial would have an E in it.
about 3/4 way over.
That's it for the, I have one comment, but no, like, corrections.
Okay, anything, all right. Comment?
We had talked, I think, at this meeting about putting the video link, and I bring it up again because I got burned on all four of these that we're reviewing. Talked about putting the video link at the bottom of the,
Oh,
like, who the guests are, or whatever,
Oh,
and then.
not
Right
at the
there.
bottom.
Yeah, yeah, because we did, there were four of them, and each one I got to the bottom, and I was like, oh, that would have been nice.
it's there.
Yeah.
So,
So you're saying to add the link?
So, it's like
Sections?
attendance, whatever, guests,
then the link.
and then, yeah, like video link, transcription link, whatever.
Even if, the verbiage is fine, the minutes were transcribed from the following link.
Yeah, I just think it's helpful at the very, close to the top instead of the
Okay.
bottom.
Okay. Everybody okay with that?
Yeah, I actually thought that's what we agreed to.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, it's at the back.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Okay, so anything else on the 21st?
no.
All right, I'll move to approve the 21st as amended.
Second.
Moved and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Abstentions, no votes, okay, 8:28. Kevin, did you vote? I didn't hear you.
Yes, I
Okay.
voted every room at home.
Okay. All right, 28th.
Something on 169
Oh, wow.
over your shoulder.
Oh,
Oh, yeah. I didn't know how to, motion to also motion.
Also
That was you,
Oh,
though.
yeah,
So
yeah.
I-
Yeah, all me.
I just wrote down the number 169
Okay.
and.
All right, anybody have anything on there other than line 169? Okay. Was that when I rescinded the motion?
No, it says, I think you motioned, because
Oh.
that was the one you made up, because it wasn't on the
Oh.
bottom.
Oh, yeah, so I motioned to also move to order. That's what I would've, that's what I would've said.
You made it up as you.
Right, as I went, 'cause it was 90 and 90, that's right. Yeah. Yeah, to also move, okay. Anything else? All right, I'll move to approve them as written, or as amended, excuse me. Moved and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Yes. All right, move to 9-9.
Well done, Ricky.
9-9 was your site walk.
I tried.
That was good.
All right, anything on the 9-9,
No.
site walk? Ooh. Move as approved.
Second.
As written, I should say, moved as written.
I'm
Moved and seconded, all?
abstaining.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Yes, abstentions?
Yes.
You got the only minutes, never get the red pen.
You should do more often.
No, I'm good.
Just the minute lady retires, who's got them now?
Nope, not this guy, I can tell you that.
No, the 11th I didn't print, but for some reason. And the 18th came as I just sat down.
So we'll just table
So-
the 11th.
I mean, just because I didn't print it doesn't.
I
mean
don't-
it-
No,
think
I
I have-
have just a couple,
Yeah.
3.
I have the agenda, I don't have the actual one, so, go ahead.
Line 31, and I wasn't, I guess I should preface, I wasn't at the meeting, but I watched live, and so I don't know if I should vote or not, but I've got corrections. He quoted, the man who spoke at the podium was quoting the inspector, and the inspector was quoting the actual building code. And I thought it was important that the quote in the minutes reflect what the building code actually says. Because it's what he read, and it wasn't a perfect transcription. And it's the IECC, and then C103.1 general. I think, I just Googled it, and that showed up. It's line 31. Or starts on 31.
If I get,
Or
if I
close.
go to the window, I get service,
Yeah,
so.
or it ended on 31, but he starts his quote on 26, and I think that should be an actual building code, but it wasn't perfectly transcribed, and he didn't quote it perfectly either. So, I just think it should be the actual building code, C103.1 general, IECC. I didn't write the whole thing down, 'cause it's kind of long.
You want the number?
It's 103.1.
Okay.
C103.1 general.
Okay.
So I would just ask whoever edits it to just Google that, and you'll see it's almost,
C103.1
yeah,
general.
of the IECC.
Okay,
Line 49.
Yep.
It's Corcoran instead of Cochran.
okay.
No, yeah.
Line 53 says viewer, it should be reviewer.
Oh,
And then same thing, that's it for corrections.
and then want to move the link to the top, obviously.
Yep.
All of the links are going to go to the top.
Right,
Yeah.
correct, yep. Okay, anything else? All right, I'll move to approve as amended by Selectman Bloom. Is there a second?
Can I second that?
I think it's gotta be one of the ones over there.
Second?
Sherry seconded, all those in favor? Yes?
Yes.
Abstentions?
I abstain. I wasn't here, didn't watch.
I had, maybe I should bring this up under, you can tell me, we'll do this later, but in reviewing that, Mrs. Pratt, she said she had information that she didn't want to share publicly, but she was willing to, I think, about the town attorney communications, and I'd like to actually get that. I don't know that we'll do anything about it, but she mentioned it, and then it kind of disappeared.
I'll be back to minutes.
Nope.
I just saw that in the minutes.
So I'm just, who voted what? Did you?
Oh.
yes?
Abstain.
He abstained, it was 3 yes, and Sherry was the second. I moved. So yeah, this is the time, it's correspondence of
Yeah, I
business,
guess
this
so.
is the time. So,
I didn't even put my report on there, sorry. I gave you a 3-page one.
all right. Well, hold that thought. Administrator's report.
Oh, wait a minute, I'm trying to catch up here.
Okay, no, you do what you're gonna do.
All right, I gave you guys a 3-page report. River Road, the bridge, we discussed, Kevin was present, Benji was too, you have to be LPA, which is Local Public Agency Certified, in order to handle the reimbursements with the state. So at the meeting back, a while back, it was suggested that Jason and Beth and I, just in case, so we can continue to do the 80-20 match. So we
Redundancy.
are scheduled for October 24th. It's not going anywhere. It's all Zoom
Oh.
or Teams or whatever. So we have to have a certification number on the rest of the application, even though you
fine.
authorize the agreement. Jason gave you an update on the River Road Steel fabrication. A reminder, transfer station stickers, October 1st is the day we start enforcing. October 1st is not really the day. That's a Sunday, so it's gonna be Tuesday the 3rd.
Is that, will have everyone had one full year to come register their car with them?
Well, I say yes, because we started this in October. I don't know that people have registered, everybody got one when they registered, I don't know that.
This is
I-
some-
I-
I didn't get it, I didn't get
something I
it.
wanted to talk about anyway. I don't know if we should do it right now or wait till you get through.
I just touched, so I didn't forget, cause and that's up to you guys, and do what you want with this.
What's,
I don't register my trucks until November, so I won't get my stickers till November. I won't give them those.
So,
Just gonna have a problem with it, that's all.
Well, you
So-
can walk in and get one.
Huh?
You can walk in and get one.
Yeah, but, it's
So you can get it
gonna,
on the old
it's gonna cause headaches up the dump if
Well, we
somebody
know-
in November,
we- we-
December.
I agree. I mean, I can't agree anymore. It's just, well, I guess I'm gonna just have to take a real deep breath on this one, a week away from the due date, that we're still hashing out whether or not how we didn't get it or did get it, and you didn't get yours, but you just walk in and you get it.
Yeah, I've gone
Okay, so
in.
it's not,
Yeah.
it's not
I go-
whatever, I think.
And if it's been voted on by the board previous, that's fine. I'm not bringing it up to bring, argument. I'm just saying it's gonna, they're gonna hear
gonna hash
about it
this
up
out
there on next Saturday. when
sounds like they're
people
gonna
get
hash it out
to
right now.
Okay, I was gonna at least suggest, it is very important, that, yeah, we keep the transfer station to town only, absolutely. The stickers are gonna help with that, absolutely. But we keep talking about how we don't have enough people, this, that, and the other, all the problems we keep hearing about. I would propose at least a grace period of some kind for, just to keep the angry people and have something, get the guys up there to write something, maybe get the town administrator to approve it, that is, if somebody shows up after October 1st, you say, okay, I live in where, here's my proof. Well, okay, here's your letter that says, go to the town clerk, you have until whatever date we pick, and you're seriously actually cut off. We've talked
Get a
about,
week or whatever till the next,
say
2
again?
weeks or something.
maybe give them a week, say, what's you today, but before next Saturday or whatever their dump day is,
Yeah.
go to the town clerk and get your sticker maybe. I don't know. Maybe we can ask Jay, maybe we let Naomi do her thing and ask Jay when he's up, if he has an opinion, it's his department.
I mean, whatever you guys want me to do.
Well, I spoke to Naomi about it today when we were reviewing a number of issues, contractual issues. A couple other things is, I asked her, what is the plan? Because that first Saturday is, they are gonna be inundated. And there are gonna be people like yourself that don't have the sticker, that drive up there with a truckload full of trash that wanna get rid of it. So we do need to have some sort of a policy to keep civility there. And at the same time, there's going to be a certain group that have never had a sticker. I have a relative who has never had a sticker, and he's 88 years old, and come hell or high water, he'll never have a sticker.
Yeah.
And, he's locked down, but then he says, well, I guess it doesn't really matter because I have a dumpster. So there are people out there, though, that are gonna lock down
We fight this tooth and nail.
and fight the system, and because of everything else that Salem has alluded to that we are dealing with up there, I mean, there is a point in time and that we do need to draw the line in the sand. And if you wanna be the lockdown guy, I guess you have to be like my uncle and get the dumpster. I mean, almost like that, because we have to be able to identify who's using our transfer station.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't want to see all the effort that's gone into this go away because it's awkward, and it's going to be awkward.
That isn't what I was getting to, other than if everyone's had an opportunity since it was decided to let
Theoretically, the
over there.
Yeah, you-
your opportunity should have been last year when you registered. That's because we put this in place last October.
Yeah.
So that should have been your opportunity.
Well,
So
you
theoretically, you had it, whether you were offered them or not, that's a different subject. But your opportunity, you had that 1 year,
Yeah,
right? So,
Yeah,
yeah.
if that's when it
Were,
was.
were they passing them out though a year ago in
Yes.
November?
yeah,
Yes.
we started asking in
Yeah.
October for it to be passed out.
Yeah, we bought them in August.
Yeah. So, they were there.
So, I think I think Salem's,
So just something brief?
I think Salem's idea is that a handout saying, okay, sir, whatever, you know.
We understand.
Or whomever, sir, ma'am, we understand there, this is, you know, whatever, dump your trash today, here it is. You have 1 week.
And it has the hours of the town clerk.
Yes, yep. And we have 1 week, and we got an email from Maureen today about the confusion of the fact that all of our advertising promotion hasn't said new sticker. So there are people with the old
Old sticker.
But the new sticker, I won't even go there.
It doesn't really, you know, I don't
We
think,
tried putting a mailer in the tax bills and
Yeah.
we took grief for that. I mean, we've tried.
The notification's
It
been
just,
there.
it's too
Yeah.
bad, it's.
so,
But I think-
I mean, so there could be that, it does open the door for the explanation that you need to get rid of your green sticker and get the red sticker.
Yeah.
Because we also did agree in the conceptual idea, the whole inception of this program was that every 3 to 5 years, we would change colors. So they would get updated, so that as these cars disappear, right? People don't hang on to cars anymore. You know, we don't have the 3,000 cars that leave the town with stickers on them, and somebody thinks they can conveniently come to where and dump their trash because they have a sticker left on the windshield. So, it's going to become a regular event, and it happens in the surrounding communities around us. This is not new.
No, it's not new, absolutely not.
And so,
Well, it
the
doesn't
guys
mean-
up there know that this is coming October 1, so I would propose that they start
Enforcing.
soft enforcing it October 1. Go up to these people that don't have the stickers and ask them about it. If they can prove that they're a resident,
Show your registration.
okay.
That's all they gotta
okay,
do.
Here's your thing that explains how you actually get your sticker.
Right.
Go dump your trash. We're not gonna, I don't think, wanna cause headaches for our employees up there.
Well, we don't want
and
to cause
don't wanna
confrontation, right.
Headaches for the residents,
Yeah.
but we've gotta stop people
We know
from
it's
out
not
of
gonna
town
be easy,
dumping their trash.
but we don't want confrontation. And the man's gonna weigh in.
I think Naomi has, we had that flyer that we put out at Hazardous Waste Day, and they have, flyers up there that they've been handing out to people. I think it'd be pretty easy to change the dates on that, if you guys wanna go ahead and
We
give
can, we can
people,
put the town clerk's hours on it.
Do you,
A
do you
grace
feel
period.
confident with that soft implementation?
yeah, I think it's gonna be hard to really,
Police it
well,
and enforce.
yes, and just to get that wall, like, hey, you don't have a sticker, get out of here. Everybody has had a year. The sign's been down, our electric sign's
Blinking,
been down at the transfer station for 2 months.
Yeah.
Reasonably, there should have been enough time to get one.
Okay.
The only thing we haven't done a year of is actually doing it. So I'm just looking for, okay, when rubber meets the road, it turns out there's a line of 15 cars, like, how are we gonna sort this out? Just give the guys up there a little bit of leeway.
Yeah, I don't think we should turn anybody away because they don't have one right now. I like the idea of, hey, Go get one.
Education.
next time you come back, there's gotta
That was
be,
my only concern about having them handed out here in said transfer station, was because otherwise you could just say, hey, prove to me you're a resident.
Well, if they're registering here, they are.
The whole reason we did this is because we were short-staffed and it was another responsibility, and we realized that we didn't have, but about 20% of the town actually had a sticker on it. So we have the facility, we have the means, the method, and we have qualified people
Yes.
that can prove that the vehicle is proof of residency, okay? So I don't want to even go down that road of getting these guys that we can barely,
Yeah.
that have limited bandwidth regardless of the situation, but they just do. And I'm all for what Salem has to say. The last part I want is that first Saturday, I think that they're gonna need all hands on deck. And we may have to pay a little bit of overtime so that there's more than,
Or have all the part-timers on hand.
yeah, I mean, I would even,
Not many.
I
I
know,
would,
but you know what I mean.
you know, I hate to say it, but I gladly volunteer if you can't find people, just to be able to make sure that there's somebody around, so it's not a situation where you're telling me, but that guy over there doesn't have one either, you know, and now all of a sudden they start running around. We need enough men on deck that first initial run, and Saturday's the big day. So, and we definitely need to drill home to the current employees up there the importance of this and the amount of time
Yeah,
and
we've been
energy.
saying for a year that this is the deadline, so we kinda gotta make a decision on it and stick to it.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm personally more concerned, not so much about the residents who can come here with a registration and get a sticker. It's taxpayers that don't register their car here that we're gonna have the biggest arguments with, in my opinion.
Yep.
So there needs to be a system there that
So landowners.
landowners,
Seasonals.
seasonal people,
Lots of seasonals up there.
But if they're seasonal, they're not registering their vehicle here.
That's
what we're talking about.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what we're talking
I
about.
mean, nothing's perfect, but those are the things I was worried about too, and see how they pan out. We're gonna have to let them.
Well, let's see the magnitude of that problem for us, and do we have to, do we implement a seasonal sticker?
yep.
Yeah.
It's something we can keep track of,
Yeah, I
be
guess
done.
keep track of it. I
Yeah.
mean,
hopefully.
So I think Kevin, if you would volunteer, that'd be great, because it's gonna be all hands on deck, like you said. If you guys are okay with that.
I don't care. I don't think it's gonna be this big D-Day thing.
Well,
I mean,
No,
it's gotta
no.
be something the employees are gonna have to
Well,
keep
Ricky,
an eye on from now
Well,
on.
Ricky was at the transfer station this Saturday, and we all have had our eyes on the facility and operations up there. And it's, do we have the people that are gonna be able to do this so that it doesn't become confrontational? It isn't, you know, that it gets handled smoothly, and that's gonna mean having backup people there that can just explain why we're doing it, and they understand why we're doing it.
I think that's gonna be the biggest part, is just the explanation, the education.
Yeah,
So can I just ask, so if you have some guys that would work Saturday, I don't go to the dump, I'll just tell you right now, I take my recyclables. Is there a way of putting a couple of guys with flyers, looking at signs, looking at stickers and waving them through versus after they've already up there running every which way but loose?
exactly.
Almost like on the
So
ramp.
if before you get up there, you're gonna be able to see that sticker, it's pretty obvious.
Yeah, stop them on the
And if you
ramp.
stop them and say, hey, just a reminder, you gotta have your sticker, and then they can go up and do their thing.
Yeah, set some cones up.
I just wonder
Sticker check.
if
Why
if
do
you
you-
might
you
get
don't
a
like that
couple of
idea?
them.
No, we're gonna do this on a Saturday. I've worked up there, so I have a little bit of understanding of it. I don't care. That just is something I thought of. You're gonna have problems with it. It'll get sorted out over time, but.
So, Ben, why
If you
don't,
want somebody up there on Saturday harassing everybody the busiest day of the week.
I don't think it's harassment, it's,
Setting up cones,
This is-
doing a
this is
traffic
what we're
check.
doing.
Okay, that's fine.
no, this is the way that the board has moved. It's
Okay,
not
that's
harassment.
fine.
It's, I mean, you gotta
See
have the
how it works
sticker.
out?
well, if you just if the person has a sticker, you just wave them through.
That's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Do you wanna come up and help me?
No,
Okay.
You don't have,
I'm the only person setting this table, and I had this argument before I left DPW, that's ever worked a day up there. I'm the only one that nobody had ever listened to. And I'm telling you, you're gonna have a damn problem up there. But it's not my problem no more, it's Jay's. So if you wanna have traffic checks and cones set up, That's perfectly okay with me. I don't care. I don't care. My initial question was just what do we do about people that don't, if we're gonna do anything. Salem came up with a good idea with the flyer. As far as I'm concerned, we move on to the next thing on the list.
I think we gotta settle on dates. I heard a week, that feels kinda short to me. Just, we don't take our trash every week, you're gonna miss
Yeah,
a bunch of people.
couple of weeks probably.
I'd give it a month.
I mean, 3 weeks? I would go with 3 weeks.
I mean, we can just change the date on the flyer and print out a couple new flyers. Naomi's got it still, and hand those to people who don't have any. And just underline the fact that this is the final
Deadline.
Yeah.
deadline. I mean,
Yeah,
we're gonna have to
and-
keep a
and-
notebook of,
Hey, Ben, I don't wanna get you fired up, but the whole problem, if we don't give them, if
That's
we
the hard
don't
part, writing
get to
all of it
them.
down.
yeah, I mean, you have,
Right, we ain't
Thousands
gotta
of
do
people
this
coming
big
through.
ambush on one day. They can start checking,
Like,
you know, when they go out
Spread
and
it out
communicate
over
with
a
the
few
public
weeks.
and,
start seeing the same
and
faces.
say, hey, you
Yeah.
don't have one, here's,
I think, Jason, the guys up there.
But if we don't give it to
Well, next
them,
time.
if we don't give it to them this week, then.
If somebody doesn't have a.
All right, well,
Yeah.
we gotta rope in. Yeah, no, I don't have it today. Yeah,
It's in there.
we gotta rope in, that's all. All right.
So did we settle on time?
Well, I think, because Salem had brought up 3 weeks, or a month.
Yeah,
I
I
said
like
3 weeks.
going October 1 to November 1, just as like a clean memory
cut.
thing, but yeah.
So all right, so ask this. Yeah, when does November 1 fall, right?
Well,
That's
it's
the
the
other thing,
third,
too.
it's October 3rd, actually, I think Naomi said.
November 1st is a Wednesday. Of course, October 1st is a Sunday.
we,
Yeah.
we can make it the 31st.
Next Tuesday.
That's a Tuesday.
It's the first day they're opening the week.
Yeah.
Okay.
That- That's almost a month.
And you know
That's,
that starting this week,
yeah,
it's all over.
yeah.
No more give and take
Get
here.
all that candy trash
Right.
Wednesday.
All right, so soft invitation, that, you got 3 weeks, and the flyers out.
Okay,
Perfect.
move on. The crosswalk on 114, DPW painted that on Thursday, and the signs have been ordered.
I saw that.
And then you reviewed already the job descriptions. Under 2, we go to the police department, the radio communication project, the grant, the variance was approved by the zoning board on 9/12. There's a 30-day appeal period before a building permit can move forward. So that means October 12th. Chief is aware of it, and he's also indicated that Two-Way is still waiting on some information in order to proceed. CBA MOUs, Attorney Broth reached out to me and asked me if I could put together the final CBA. I said not today, I'll try to do it by Wednesday, get it over to them so they can sign it, we can sign it. And then I've also reached out with some negotiation dates. But Salem and Kevin had already given me some dates, so I'm still sticking with those at the moment, until I get confirmed.
You'll email us updates to firm them up, right?
I'm waiting, yep.
And where do we end up with last year's? Did we,
I gotta figure that out, cause I wasn't here that night.
okay.
I just need to figure out what the approval, what the last thing was.
Okay.
That's why I said I can't do it today, cause I don't even have that, so.
Okay.
It had to do with the military leave?
Yes.
Yeah.
I,
The minute taker, she has not confirmed about taking the minute taker under Parks and Rec, but she also just had the baby, so.
Okay.
I'll keep you updated on that. You all saw the email with the budget freeze, Beth sent out to the Parks and Rec. They're on a freeze until the park closed, and then they're gonna all look at it, and I think it's gonna
Yep.
go on their agenda next time.
Sounds like it.
The 2 that are still there, have been on there, I just don't wanna forget them, Bolton Field driveway and drainage, I know DPW is gonna put together a proposal. And then the boat ramp, repair options, we were gonna wait till the water drew down in the fall.
they did pull the boards.
Oh, did they?
what part of the driveway has drainage problems over there?
Bolton Field, they talked about the driveway going in. I don't think there's
That's
enough
been going on for a
Actually,
while.
not going in, it's going down.
Down.
Down the
Downhill.
hill,
Down.
Because
Football
anytime it
field, yeah.
rains really hard, you know, it. just
washes
flows
out.
in.
washes out.
No, that's, I
Yeah, and
assumed
then,
that's where it was.
then there was a park email, somebody reached out to you about the boat ramp, right? In the last couple of weeks?
Janine,
Or maybe she's going to.
I think she's going to.
Okay, okay. Well,
'Cause
there you go, there's some warning.
I thought the drawdown was Columbus Day weekend.
I don't know, the water's running down the river tonight when I came down like crazy.
Okay.
Okay.
So let's move on, conservation items, the asbestos, at the last meeting, Mr. Lemay is putting together the RFP and gonna bring it back to the next meeting for approval to post for remediation. I have sent a request to IT to give all CC members their own. That has not been finished yet, because I tried it today and it went to old emails, so.
Okay.
And then I emailed the CC members to ask them specifically what they feel they need training on the RSA. I don't wanna waste time. If there's a certain section of it they
Action,
want,
yeah.
I'm just waiting for them to tell me.
Okay.
I'll set up training, we heard them, but at the same time, I don't wanna waste anyone's time and money on something they already know. Under the town office, the joint loss management, we do have a DPW director now, we're just gonna wait till the fire chief position cycles out. And Beth said she'd get that started again.
Okay.
Contracts for the Forester, I just wrote still open, cause I think we have some items there. Collins, still open. Asbestos on Buzzell, we're holding. We said we would. The rental ordinance was tabled, and I don't know, they're talking about maybe bringing it back, but they're in the very infinite stages of that.
Okay.
Police job descriptions on hold, ethics committee,
Can we back up on that?
Yep.
If we're gonna complete police job, or job descriptions by the end of the year, or where, are we gonna just fill that blank with the employment agreement?
I would think we'd have to.
Or what's in remember there was that one that was in there, the SOPs that they have?
Yeah.
Either or.
He has an actual contract, correct?
He has a contract.
Yeah, so we kinda have to follow employment, I would think.
But I think we do both of them, because there is one that he abides by in their own,
The SOPs.
their own SOPs.
Yeah,
Just
I just
one,
wanna
so.
make it clear, cause that's the one on the administrative end, it's the only incomplete one.
And our hands may be tied on it.
Yeah,
Right.
that's what we kinda concluded.
I think we
Okay,
concluded
just make
that
sure
we're-
we all agree, cause that's tab 3, it's gonna get filled here.
The ethics committee, you met the last time, and I have, they met Wednesday night and put together their package. Wendy emailed it to me, and I've sent it over, and they have a 3-hour time limit for review. And their next meeting is the 18th. Hopefully, they should have everything back to get ready to roll. Finance committee, they're gonna hold their first kickoff meeting on Wednesday, October 11th. They're basically gonna be sworn in, kind of pick a chair, vice chair, and then set a meeting schedule is really all they're after, because we haven't even started yet. Preambulation with Dunbarton, I saw an email, that's already been set for October 7th at 1 o'clock. You're gonna meet at 308 River Road. We also, I shared with you, Hennecker sent us one with a contact for them. They'd like to do it mid-October to early November. The only caution I had was, remember, it's hunting season for all you guys that want out there. Wear your orange.
Do you have orange vests?
I've got some.
I'm not going with you, so I don't have to wear one. So just be cautious, and if the same two, I can give you Hennecker's contact if you
Yeah.
wanna try to do it. or-
Yeah, that's fine.
Or do you wanna
Probably
see
be-
how the first one goes
probably-
first?
No, that's fine. Probably be November for me, though.
Okay, I'll reach out to them.
So who's doing those?
Sherry and
Salem.
Okay.
On the Dunbarton one, and then.
And who's doing Hennecker?
I'll reach out to, it's Scott Osgood was in the letter.
Yeah, I saw it.
I'm off Tuesdays, as you all know, and next week I am actually out of town. The building inspector position, we talked about tonight. The CIP, I do have a question on CIP. CIP is gonna meet again Wednesday morning. We talked about the carriage shed. The project minimum in the CIP request has $15,000. Currently, the numbers that's been supplied, the true numbers that have been supplied by Kevin are below 15, just shy of 15. Do we rush and proceed the project for 24, or what are we gonna do? Because he supplied you all with an email from one siding company, which was very close to what Kevin had estimated anyway, a roofing company, sorry.
We do have money in the building if we,
You guys saw the CIP, it's about $53,000 in your,
my personal feel would be, instead of trying to rush it, if we feel that's a project,
well, there's numbers we still need to get. Kevin has reached out to Tim Maskiel for numbers of painting, and as well as the town hall.
Yeah.
that we don't have yet.
Well, the other thing is too, is just because it doesn't meet CIP doesn't mean we can't put an article out there.
No, I just was trying to follow the rules like everybody
Right.
else says.
Right, I mean, just because
And
it
if it's
doesn't,
a project that you think you're rushing into and you wanna give it some time, it's set there this long.
yeah, that's what I mean. I mean, even if it's not CIP, we can still
I think
save
sometimes rushing
15,000
doesn't
into that fund. You know, we can ask for one article of our own.
help. Okay, and then,
So,
so do
yeah,
we wait?
yeah,
for now?
so my.
I say we
so-
wait though,
So
yeah.
I'm done with this one.
I guess my feel was if it didn't meet it, we could still do it, but do it
Stop
out of the
chasing
money,
me.
right?
Say
Validation.
again?
Huh?
What'd you say?
Well, it sounds like it needs to be done, I'm gonna fall down, so, but if it's under the 15,000, we're just gonna pull it out of the 50-something and do it? Or we're gonna say no, cause if not, then I
But
change
we're-
my mind, I wanna put it out.
Right, and we were also waiting on verification to see if it's on the National Register.
It's, oh, I don't know.
thought
I
you
mean,
were
the
looking
town
at-
hall is,
Yeah,
but I haven't seen anything yet. I've looked back through a lot of stuff, but
okay.
I don't know, you must have some stuff up here.
I haven't looked
File.
at it. Excuse me.
I
I
guess
did
what you were
get-
getting at,
I
like,
did get a quote to tear it down and put it in dumpster and add parking there, $6,500.
does that go into our demo? I know it doesn't, I know.
It'll go in cans,
65.
all the way.
But you were talking about, you know, we can't just write in our own article later. I like the idea of asking people what they think.
Oh,
On
absolutely.
something like this, where
I'm
we're all kinda
100%
on
with
the
that,
fence and
but
it's permanent,
yeah, I mean, the thing is, we put a roof on something that ain't got no underside to it.
yeah.
I like the can idea
Yeah.
myself, but, again, it's due neglect. It's
Well, let's
unfortunate.
put it on there then. Let's put it
The
on there.
roof on and,
Well, let's put it on the, let's go to CIP and put it on then, if we
Alright, well,
don't know.
what do you want for a number for
But-
painting? Cause right now you're at 14.
Well,
Yeah, but-
and it comes back around to if the sides are all
Yeah, but-
shot, and what's the point of a roof?
I mean,
Like, if we're gonna do it, we should do it.
That's what-
And ask the people, hey,
Yeah.
this is what it's gonna take to make this building whole.
Yeah,
Yes or no?
that's what Kevin said. He's like, you know, if he could put his fist through the back wall if he wanted to, it's that soft. And if that's the case, I'm not gonna be in favor of putting a roof on it. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be, I mean, at that point,
I
I'm gonna
don't
be.
think it's that soft. I was up there a few
Plus,
months
we
ago.
just had a
walked
number
the
that
whole
says to
thing.
repair it instead of specifying for,
Well, that has not gone through in the past of a number to repair it, because we tried that with the town hall and it didn't pass.
well, that was a big number.
It was, but I don't assume this is gonna be anything less than 20 grand. That's kind of a big number
And the
today.
question, it may not be recommended by CIP because there are
Other
things in this
items.
building, and we've talked about the handicap ramp that probably
Yeah.
should go before a building that no one's using.
Right.
So, you know what I mean? Do we take time and think about it and do it right?
Mm-hmm.
Or do we?
Do we have
I
to
mean, I'll
dis-
do whatever you want, just
Do we
tell
have
me.
to decide tonight on this?
Well, CIP is
Let's go on to
Wednesday.
CIP.
CIP is
guys.
Wednesday.
We wanna see.
Yeah, I don't, yeah, I don't have, I mean, I was, sure, you mentioned supporting numbers, you had bids on certain things.
I had
and-
a bid and I couldn't find it, but it's probably buried because I've had it for a while, but, because I thought we were gonna probably put it out, but I thought it was pushing up towards 16,000. That's what I
Well,
remember.
okay, so, I mean, I think we should table it, and I really think that this, in the big picture, we really do have to decide if we want to keep investing money in a building that has really no purpose, and I don't believe adds any character to the town, and it does need a substantial amount of work, and we do need additional parking there. So, I really think Ricky makes a good point. I think it's a serious consideration, because if we dump 25,000 into it now, it's just gonna come back to us, because we don't have a solid maintenance program. So in 25 years, in 20 years, then it's gonna be $50,000 you're investing in a building that we don't use. And we don't have money enough to maintain the other buildings, this building, the town hall. So why would we be dumping the money into that? And I went after it just more or less to find out, you know, as a taxpayer, what is this bringing in value to the town? And we've
It's a
gotten to a
lot.
point that the shingles are blowing off and the boards are rotted, so you can put your fist through them on the back, and you can. And every roofer that's gonna look at it has said to me, well, who's gonna do the repairs before I start roofing? So I think it's a serious thing we have to look at. We have considerable overhead in this town, and our buildings are not in great condition.
No. And that's where I'm at. I mean, we've got, you know, the door on East West Station's rotted off. The handicap ramp out here is not in great shape. There's so many more things we could spend $15,000 to $20,000 on, other than, to Kevin's point, something that doesn't get used. If it's not on the registry, unfortunately, maybe this board, maybe whoever has let the
If it
thing,
is,
has let it go too far at this point. I don't think to me, it's probably not salvageable.
And if it is, we could probably get help with it then, possibly, if it's on the registry. We could.
If it's on the
Yeah, it's registry,
registry,
you
then we
grant
can
it.
apply,
You
we
can
can write a
grant it.
grant for it. But
Yeah.
Well, unless
But
it's
someone
taken-
has to take, before it starts, the roof start, you know, someone has to just take it over. I mean, we have to decide who's in charge of these buildings. And I mean, I said I would do an analysis and I've been trying to get it done, but I
Is that
keep on
something
getting,
I was
you could
do,
take to
I,
the Historical Society?
yeah, I will, and I was doing a lot of the work on the historic buildings, the grant for to do the bell tower I did, the roof up in Clinton Grove was done that with a grant. I couldn't get the ban on the listing because there's not enough information down there on East Street, so I couldn't get that, so I could do that. The Historical Society's been fully redone with a new 20-ounce copper roof and,
Yeah, I mean,
All
if
that
we
that
can
was
get a grant,
done.
I would be glad to match some of it from whatever
well,
funds, but
maybe I can put an email out tomorrow and a few phone
CIP, let's
calls.
table it then.
I would say CIP would
Good,
table it.
everybody.
Go ahead and get
See
the
what I
wheels
can-
in motion about getting on the registry list, if that's what the board wants.
Well, I don't know if it's on there, but I can.
And then we can appeal for grants.
Okay,
But-
that answers that.
okay.
To me, there's other things.
So the last item back surfaced a while ago, the service contract listing, you guys, it's in your stuff.
It's in the packet.
I asked Beth to put it together, it starts at what expires in '23 and runs all the way down through. You guys can take a look at that, you're gonna see those again, budget-wise, some of the reoccurring ones, but you have that list.
Mhm.
Under correspondence, I just wanna know, I got the NHMA calendar today, deliberative session, I'd like to schedule for Saturday, February 3rd, 2024,
Okay,
at 9 AM.
is that okay with everybody?
That's the first one that gave us a great opportunity last year. If you take the second one, it just puts it too close to able to get the town report to the printer and back in
Yep.
time. So we always take the first one.
February 3rd it
Planning
is?
committee the opportunity to do their thing too, as far as, to be included in the mailer.
Yep, perfect.
Move on to work session items. Back a while ago too, there was a conversation about DES. The Mark from DES and I finally connected today. He's been out and I was out and we connected today and we talked about, compliance, updating the solid waste ordinance. He was going to email me some dates and times that he would be able to come and take a tour of the transfer station, talk about the permit, which was originally issued in '89, and see what modifications have been made, offer suggestions as needed, and possibly help with the ordinance update. What I was thinking when I asked him for some dates was, maybe somebody, if it's a morning or an afternoon, you all wanna tag along, and I have to post it as a meeting.
I'd like to.
So
I
I
would
figured there
absolutely
would be
like to.
several that would like to, I just wanna give you the opportunity. He said he'd give me some mornings and afternoon dates.
Okay.
I was thinking it would be nice to do a Thursday when we're not bouncing between cars, so we're gonna
Okay.
try to figure out a Thursday.
That'd be
morning or
good.
afternoon,
Thursday.
But I'll let you know as soon as I do.
Thank you.
Okay,
The rest of them, honestly, I flooded you with I did the advertisement and job description for the sexton, and we're under work session items. The general service handyman person, the invitation for electrical and plumbing on town buildings for '24, RFP for mapping, and then the unsealing, I think, Salem had done that, we were supposed to review it, policy for contacting, the right to know request, and then I did come across a town seal policy that was approved and never signed.
Okay. I
I just have to ask, cause it's none, I don't think maybe one of you might have been on the board.
think I remember
It was
that.
done a while back.
It was.
And we adopted a policy, but no one ever signed it.
Correct, yeah.
So I don't know how we sign it today, I would like to ask that.
Yeah, because we had some issues,
Yes.
yeah.
People were using our seal.
people using our seal.
Right to know request pending, there's, actually 4, they're listed there, 3 from a resident and then 1 still from, the Hopkinton. And I believe I have all the CC emails, I just want to know, there was our letter request from Meadows End for our council to talk to theirs, is that okay?
I
I
think,
guess we have to talk about that.
I think that's part of the gig. My own feeling anyway, is
Just have ours talk to theirs,
talk to theirs.
okay, oops.
Is that okay?
yeah.
I mean, because I don't,
Well, we still are looking for 10 years worth of bid information.
Right.
I'm not gonna have it until there has some conversation.
Right,
correct.
Yeah.
And that's not gonna fulfill the request
Yeah.
until I get that.
I like, I don't remember what it was. We limited the number of hours, for ethics committee. Can we do that for this too? I know it'll be more than 3, but just to keep it from, oh, I thought you meant I was supposed to go and do this whole thing.
Yeah,
Oh.
no, I'm just
Yeah.
So you want to say
asking.
less than 8?
I think this is where I envision it. He wants to have a conversation with town council. I think should be very limited as to what she's gonna offer without talking to us. I don't know what he's gonna
Just be a
ask her.
phone call. I
Should
envision
be
that.
just a phone call.
So up to 2?
I'd keep it to 2 or 3 like
Up to
last
2,
time.
yep, that's fine.
So, that can we just hit the broader topic here to make sure that, I assume going forward, that we will have all bid results here now? Okay, so we don't have to be paying to try to get our own property back.
No.
No.
And then, one other time you guys indicated, I broke down the MMG bill for you.
Yep.
I think you guys have seen it. I gave you exactly what it was. Do you want me to read it out loud? Do you want me, it's there?
It's here.
And I'll send her this in Word and she can add it to it if you want.
That works.
I think I pretty much covered that whole bill. Then let's move on to the last page, and I apologize for the lengthiness, but
Nope.
we gotta keep things
It's
moving.
all here.
Building and maintenance, hop down to the chimney, Selectman Cahill sent us in about the chimney. Clay said he was notified this afternoon that he's supposed to be there tomorrow to work.
Interesting.
So I just, and no money has been paid to him at all. It would have to come through here because you appropriated the money.
Correct.
So,
Okay, good.
the solar committee I've reached out to, they actually are meeting on 9/28, and I want them to come forward because they're supposedly doing some neat stuff, and I just think that everybody needs to know solar is moving in that direction. So I'm trying to get them to come in. The town office building replacement generator, you ordered the bid. I'm gonna use the same template for the town hall bathrooms, and then once that's completed, the contractor will be reached to schedule a walkthrough, the signings, insurance, and then Selectman Cahill was the contact for the town hall bathrooms. Would you like him to be the one for this one as well?
Or someone else want to take this one?
Which one is it?
The generator.
I just won't be around, that's the problem.
I'm just
Well,
asking.
similar to the chimneys, I mean, part of why that's in there tonight is because I've kind of gotten that handed to me, and I don't mind doing it, but I'll take care of this one too, if everybody wants me to. But somebody has to approve the work, someone has to inspect what they're doing, and it's not Beth and Naomi.
Correct.
I'm hoping once, for these projects, we gotta get some, I'm hoping if we get a building inspector someday.
Yeah, that will hopefully fall under their umbrella, but
Yeah.
as a stopgap, I think,
Can the interim one inspect it? Or,
well, I think he,
Well, see,
at the end,
once
he's gonna have
we wanna
to.
do the walkthrough, he's here from 4:30 to 6:30, so unless we do the walkthrough from 4:30 to 6:30, I mean, he's.
Well,
Yeah.
I think regardless on the electrical stuff, he's gonna have to do it anyways, I mean,
Well, he has to do the final inspection.
Yeah.
But it's just like right now, let's just, like, where are we? Coordination with getting the Jersey barriers pulled back. That's not the generator guy's job.
no, nor is it the building
And I've
inspector,
reached
really.
out to Irving, and we've got a work order started for the new tank, so I'm just
And then
trying
it's
to.
like putting in the 4 flags, this is where the tank's sitting, so when the truck drives up, they know where to.
They
put it.
drone or drop it.
Yeah,
yeah,
it's that little stuff.
you started the RFP, if you don't mind doing it, I guess I don't mind you
Yeah.
seeing this one through.
I
Okay.
don't mind it at all.
I
Right,
Again,
don't
I,
have time during the day.
I appreciate it. I do.
Naomi, before you go farther, the East Road barn, they came over and screwed down all the loose metal on the east.
so that's done, I can take it off?
That's done, take it off.
Okay, thank you. The HVAC in the basement, we received a detailed quote from Granite State, which would, I think, a great framework for an RFP.
Okay,
I just think we need to, it was 10, over 10.
Yeah.
Oh.
So we need an RFP. So
Yeah, definitely
they
need
laid
it.
out the scope of work, I'll just use the scope of work, but I'll share it in the draft first.
please.
And then the furnace, when they were here this summer doing some repairs, there was a bolt broke, but
Yep.
it's nothing to do with running the furnace, so,
It's fine.
I've sent an email, but I'm gonna call them.
Mm-hmm.
Email's easy to ignore, but we need to get that fixed.
Yep.
And then I called today for furnace services. AJ LeBlanc are the two that have to be used for the first two that are listed, because those were service contracts.
Those were installed, yep.
So I reached out to all of them, because they all really need to have furnaces looked at, cleaned, and ready to go before
Tuned
we
up,
have
yep. Cold
things that
snaps.
don't work. So I'll be working through that schedule. ESP is the other one, which is the fire alarm and the freeze alarm. And they always come in the fall, so that we're good to go, freeze alarm, fire alarm.
Okay. One question, you gonna get yours looked at?
I emailed Naomi this
Yep.
morning, told her we had it scheduled.
He's
Okay.
already got his
Perfect.
schedule,
That's all I
because
need
his
to
is
know.
waste oil, these
Yep, no, I know.
Okay.
Yeah, these, and I knew that was there was gonna be
Yeah, I
difference, that's
emailed
why I didn't want to fall
everybody
off
to say,
the.
have you scheduled it, have
Yep.
you
Coming
not?
season, you're gonna have them scheduled once a week.
Apologize for the lengthiness.
So, nope, it is what it is.
I do have one thing,
Ooh.
this, you guys didn't sign last week when Andy signed it, too. It only needs 3 signatures.
Oh,
Maureen needs that.
okay. I already signed it once.
Well, right, but we didn't sign the volume part.
Oh, appointed by.
Appointed by.
Yep.
Do you think we could put on that Forrester's contract that we'd gone through? We'd gone through it 3 different times, so I think we kind of finalized it the last time.
Yeah, I think we were gonna talk about rebidding that.
But we don't have the contract finalized by us yet.
Are you talking copies? I supplied everybody copies.
Yeah, we did.
I got you the
The
first.
first
the
draft, second
middle,
draft, and
yeah?
the third,
Okay,
right.
so I don't,
I thought there was talk about rebidding it.
I don't think we ever approved it, is what I'm saying.
I know, and I'm thinking that we were gonna rebid it before we did any approving.
You mean put it out of RFP?
Correct.
Yeah,
That's what I meant.
yeah, no, that is what we agreed. And so are we on to correspondence and other
I
business?
think so,
I think so,
Joyce,
yeah.
she'd asked me to add something.
I
that's
just
all.
added to the work session,
Right.
so that's all.
So, yeah, Ricky, I had that on correspondence and other business, the 8:21 minutes, line 123, 124, in regards to Meadowend. That was when it was apparent that we did not get at least a truthful answer, and at that point, it kind of drew a line in the sand. So we took a look at that along with a number of other things, and I think we all agreed that we are gonna put it back out. We're gonna put that out for an RFP to look at other foresters.
Oh, we're gonna go to the end of the year.
Okay, and I think we did agree that we were gonna go to the end of the year. I did ship around or forward everybody some information when I was just doing some research with conservation, with some of the other things that are going on, which are
Those are cut.
signed agreements that are signed only by Jeremy Turner, but not by Conservation Commission.
I don't know if they ever came back to them, because whenever Andy has a stack of mail in front of him, he goes through it paper by paper, so I don't know if we ever got it back. I don't know that it
Well,
ever came back to the
I don't
Conservation Group.
either, but I don't, to answer your question, Shari, I feel very uncomfortable signing into any further agreements if it can be handled through as it was stated by Stephen, this overreaching agreement that's been floating around for a number of years that was actually revised after town council approved it. The fee structure was then changed,
And that's why we didn't sign it.
and
Okay.
so.
It wasn't what we had said on.
What are they called, FSAs?
Yeah.
Yeah, so if conservation can continue to survive as they have for the last 4 years by getting the work done under FSAs, then I suggest they do that. And we do not sign this overreaching or overarching, I forget how it was described, agreement,
Yeah.
personally. And then, one last thing on the minutes, just as long as I'm on this, so I do all my minute reading online, and some of them read draft and then others are posted as if they're already approved.
Right.
So tonight we approved minutes that are up on the web that
Or draft.
look like, they don't say draft. There's no draft shown. They appear as being approved.
It should have draft at the very top. Our minutes?
Well, if you go to the web
According to
page,
the
if you
website.
go to
It may
the
just be
web
the
page,
link.
if you go to the web page,
Yeah,
if you go to the web page and you open up,
Right there.
I got it.
yeah,
Yeah,
but on
the
the
link in
webpage,
the
it
sidebar.
says just minutes.
All right.
So
And you-
it should say selectmen's minutes, draft type thing.
Well, no.
Is that what you're
Yeah,
saying?
it's just how it's being entered. So if you look down at, like, I'll just pick a date, August 8th, it still reads draft
And it's
To the-
not draft
that's true.
to the
anymore.
right. And
Should be
then a
final.
week will skip, and then it'll say draft again. And these last four, there's
Oh,
no
yeah.
draft.
Yeah, it says, some of them say final, some of them say draft, and now they don't say anything next to them.
It's who posts them, because I don't put draft or final.
Okay.
Because when I put the final ones up, I take the draft down and stick the final ones up.
Yeah, the majority of them don't say anything, they say selectmen's minutes,
Right,
so.
and that's what I always did them that way.
Yeah, so it's just confusing, if am I actually reviewing a draft, and am I reviewing the final? I understand that it's,
Mhm. I hear what you're saying.
but somehow or another, we have to
It's
get.
who posts it. I
Okay.
don't use the word draft. so.
All right, so we'll just get some consistency on that, so somebody, and then the last one was, I did receive an email from a woman named June Curley.
Yes,
Did everybody get that email?
I got that email.
Okay,
It's not
I
ringing a
don't
bell.
know, did everybody get it?
okay, I
It's
got
not
it.
ringing a bell.
It basically asks us to consider, entering a new building code that would suggest that all of our buildings go full electric.
They don't
No
know.
carbon consumption, and I did respond to her, and made a couple suggestions. I didn't think that such a far-reaching policy was gonna be possible at this time, but would be a consideration maybe someday down the road. But I did just respond to her as an individual. I made that clear in my response, and did suggest a couple things of educational things to help minimize carbon footprint, blah, 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 blah. Okay, that's all I got. I didn't know everyone got it because it's addressed,
It was addressed
I
only
don't
to me.
recall seeing it, so.
I just forwarded all the board members, so, she'll be getting it soon.
all right, I'm done.
You had something, Salem, you wanted to
I've
chat
got
about?
two things. There's so another email, so Ricky and I went out, probed the cemetery plot this
Yep.
weekend. We talked about an email that, 3 of the board members had received and were trying to sort out.
Yeah.
Well, that's kind of weird. I think it's because the webpage for the cemetery trustees only
Oh.
has 3 members listed, and so
Oh,
it was like,
You
well,
had all 5 of you.
or we just change it to board members
Okay.
and then it'll,
yeah, they all go
Be
to
good
all of us, yeah,
forever.
yeah, okay, that makes more sense, yeah, all right. And I didn't forward that to you, did I? No, but I will. I'll
So
forward
can
to
I,
you,
can
Benji.
I answer your question? I sent that off to the company that's gonna do the digging, they
Yep.
will fill the hole. I don't know what to do about the corner marker,
Yeah.
I don't know, I guess the family through the funeral home's been notified it's missing.
Okay.
I don't know if they wanna buy another one or, I'm not sure. But that's gonna happen this Friday and that should be all taken care of.
Okay.
But thank you
Thank you.
guys.
All right, I just forwarded that email. It was, consideration for cleaning veterans' headstones per the VA guidelines. So I just forwarded it to all you guys. But it was me, Kevin, and Sherry. They got it,
Yeah.
so,
yeah, those are the 3 listed on the website.
no.
Okay.
Bit more special.
Yeah. I've got one other thing out of left field. It's, I guess my day job, I do network topologies and whatnot. When I sit here and can't get on the Wi-Fi, I thought I could volunteer to do that and say, work with the IT guy, say
Get a booster type thing.
what
A booster
exists where?
system.
What's the logical layout? What's the physical layout? Where are the switches? Where are the routers? What's in that the stuff in the cabinet actually has a nice network diagram. Says what the IP addresses are. I don't know, just, It struck me.
I'd be good with that. I mean,
And-
that's your wheelhouse. I mean, is that something?
It's Rockwell plaster. That's what's crushing us. It's
yeah,
disastrous
yeah.
for Wi-Fi.
So,
Yeah, no, I'm good with that, though.
I'm good with letting
I'm not
chat
like
with
Oh,
them.
chomping
yeah,
at the
right,
bit.
yeah,
I was
yeah.
just kind of like, I don't know,
Absolutely.
something I could do.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I just wanted, and I guess I would work with the town administrator, work with the IT,
Mm-hmm.
IT guy, and that would help because we have talked about, that's a 2024 expiration date. It'd be nice to know.
Where we're at.
Yeah.
Yep, that's fine. Yeah, and you'll be here
Yeah, I think
with the
he's-
board,
I
so
think
yeah,
he's
you'd have that
coming.
knowledge.
I think he's coming Wednesday. I just have to double check.
Oh, you
with
better.
that.
Okay. You shake hands, say hi.
Yeah, yeah, I'd at least say hello.
Yeah,
So then I can send him
introduce
an email,
yourself.
he
I
doesn't
believe
think
he
I'm
is
fishing.
coming Wednesday.
Not
So
fishing.
let me double check, and then I'll let you know, because you're welcome to come in and meet him. He'll be here.
Yeah, I can just top over.
Okay. Any other business?
Yeah, real quick, Ricky, I'm sorry, I missed one. So, just back to conservation, Sherry, again, can you be the liaison from the board? In the review of the bylaws, it clearly states that you're to be a 7 regular member board appointed by the Board of Selectmen for your 3-year terms, right? We had this discussion last week. You have been for almost a year now, a 6-year
He's six.
Member.
Six
Six
member,
member?
yeah.
There have been at least 3 requests that I know about of people being interested. One as early as your,
Two of them came in person,
yeah, 2 came in person.
and sat here and interviewed with the board.
I don't think that they asked to be a member, I
Yes,
think.
it's in the minutes.
Was it?
So I read, yeah.
Oh,
it's in-
okay,
it's
well, I
in-
know they asked to
yeah,
help.
It's in the minutes, and I don't recall their names, but
Okay.
I think the board would agree.
Okay.
There's a reason it's supposed to be 7 members,
Yeah,
like on all our boards, an even number
yeah, uneven,
for a reason.
yeah.
So, can you give us an update on where you are? And we
I'll ask
also
them about it.
have had a recent request and of 3 more people that are potentially interested. 3 more. But that request came via one of them we all got.
Yeah, I've seen one.
Yeah, we got one. He's reached out and orally explained that there's 2 other people that are interested. But we never responded to his email either. So he's floating around out there. So you've got plenty of candidates, I
Yeah,
guess.
yeah,
So you will make sure we get to 7?
yeah.
Okay.
Okay, that's
Anything
it.
else?
No, sorry, Ricky, for that
Sure.
interruption.
I can keep going.
I'd rather not.
Yeah, no.
It's up,
I was driving by on 77, stopped at that cemetery with the trees we got
Yep.
the email about, and then I couldn't piece together, because we got an email maybe from the town administrator with
Jason, I
your
think.
Jason.
Was it straight from you?
Jason,
Okay, so can you just, okay,
Yeah.
okay, sorry. Can you just like describe what it looks like? Because I'm pretty, like, I saw some in the back left.
So inside of the cemetery, there's one large dead ash tree that's dropping limbs like they all are across the state. There's one just outside of the cemetery walls if you're headed towards Reservoir Drive.
Ash.
No, I believe it's an oak tree.
A huge one?
Yeah, yeah.
Huge.
It's outside of the walls, it's right on the edge
Right
of
on
the
the
state
right.
road.
Yeah.
I think the state can take care of that.
Which cemetery again?
The one at
One
end of
on,
Woodbury.
Yeah, 77.
Oh,
77
yeah,
Woodbury.
yeah.
I mean, if the state won't paint a crosswalk, there's no way they're gonna come cut that tree down.
Yeah, it's true. Very viable.
Just get a
Be on the
piece,
cemetery.
piece of black and white ribbon, wrapping around it, so when the Eversource truck goes by, they'll stop and
They
get
don't
it.
work, I tried that.
That's a nice tree, though.
I mean, is it lively or is it dying?
The ones
Oak
outside
tree.
of the cemetery look fine.
Okay, so the ash tree has come down.
And,
That-
and full disclosure, I don't wanna get too much farther without saying this. They're people that we're family friends with, that they had asked me, what am I supposed to do about this? And I said, email board members at. So I drove into their driveway, I didn't know, who was home, wherever, walked over there and looked. Then the husband came out, we talked, and so like back left, there, I don't know what kind of tree it was like leaning over the headstones. But if you're, if you're standing in 77 facing the actual plot, the site, it's like follow the stone walls to the back left. There's 1 or 2 over there. That's what he was talking about. And
Reaching for sun.
Well,
Yeah.
my question is the ash tree that's well within the bounds, is that covered under that cypre? That's well within the
Yeah,
bounds.
yeah, if it's in the,
So we talked about too, because the pines over at East Ware, really are gonna require a crane, there's no way. And when
And are those in the fence?
When Benji used to do it, they used to have a crane for one day, and we'd send him all over town, and that's kinda took all the money.
Right.
But there's things that we can't do, and that's not taken.
Oh, yeah, we can't do that. I mean, that's definitely
Is that
cypre
something
money.
that would be inside the cemetery?
I think it would be. I guess I don't know, I would wanna make sure before we cut a limb, but
I
to me,
think-
that's pretty
I think
clear
it's in
cut.
the
It's inside,
boundaries
and
of
if
the
it's
wall.
dying, it's
Yeah.
gonna potentially do whatever, it's viable.
Yeah.
I feel. But
So how, do we get Jason to get a crane company, is that what I'm asking?
I think, yeah,
They'd
I
hire
Sitting with
a
2
tree
weeks now.
company.
think we
Well, a
definitely hire a tree
They
company.
go up with a,
Or with a bucket or.
a 97-foot lift, a 96-foot lift, and they cut the tops of the trees right down.
You want me to just put an RFP out?
I think we should, yeah.
Get one drafted for you guys?
Yeah, I think that'd be best.
And include the,
Include the trees, whatever other trees you can think of that you know of.
And the sticking point, he was saying like, look, it's coming up out of the stone wall. Is that a town tree, is it not?
Well, let me ask this question, we're gonna go through trouble drawing up RFPs. Are we gonna pick a number of trees, say these have to go, drop RFP to cut those trees, or are you looking just for a day of work?
A day
Well,
of work, probably.
We have approximately, what, 7,500 left?
Because he don't even go through all the trouble and come back here and
cypre?
just
Yeah.
go,
Well,
Higher, and I'll
that we
take
can
it every
expend,
day.
because remember, there's a number that the
$1,500.
taxpayers say we can spend 10,000, right?
You
Right.
said you can spend 10,000.
Right, so, if it's all within the walls,
I used to get a tree company for a day and give me a day's worth of work, I already had trees picked out, we got what we got.
And that's
But that,
Who
you don't
did
need
you-
to write the RFP and come to us and all that, just get somebody.
Who
well.
did you get
depends on-
that?
$1,500,
Okay, if it's-
18 at most.
if it's within the purchasing policy,
Yeah,
then so
it
be
is.
It's less than $2,500.
It's less than $2,500.
Who's the guys in town that do that?
There's all
There's a
kinds
few
of,
of them. You want somebody that's got a bucket truck and
and can provide insurance and all that, so.
Yeah, I mean, that's cypre money if it's inside.
If
of
it's inside the
cemetery.
walls, I think it's cypre money.
yeah, don't put nothing inside on your dollar.
Yeah, okay.
But the other thing is too, is outside the walls, I don't know who is responsible for that. I understand the impending, but
It's
I
in
don't
their
know.
state right away. I think they're
Well,
Well, if you
Yeah,
wanna,
he's talking about
if you
different
wanna
things
read
than
the, it really comes down to how bad we want them down. The tree belongs, unless it's in a subdivision, we own the deed to, a tree defined bigger than 5 inches belongs to the landowner in the state of New Hampshire, so.
Exactly,
So maybe that oak tree belongs to the house
At any rate.
next door to it.
What about the fence at the cemetery, East Ware Cemetery?
I think,
I mean, all those
can't that be
limbs are-
cypre as well, maintaining the fence?
Inside.
Inside the fence.
What about the fence?
The fence is theirs.
I don't know, I don't know, that's why I'm
I have to
asking.
get clarification, I don't know.
Well, they fixed it, they've always fixed it before it was got damaged, I guess.
Who's
So in
they?
my opinion, cemetery board had it.
We have to pay for it and then get reimbursed.
And that's fine, I just don't know how, if yeah, all right, that's my point.
Yeah.
If cypre money can be used for that, then maybe we think about doing that.
So is Jason gonna go get a quote, and if it's less than $2,500, we can talk about it and he can do it?
I can't believe it ain't done yet.
Yes, yes.
We gotta get him out of there before they ruin headstones.
Well, that's what I'm saying, the ash tree especially, because that's only gonna be going further south faster than we
And
can.
any of them have ever cut before in the cemetery, whoever's in, it came from cemetery money, whoever's in charge of the cemetery, I just worked with them. At the time, it was Bill Tiffany.
Oh, it's us.
Okay, well then it's us.
Mm-hmm.
That's right, so.
But, okay,
Okay.
very good. All right. All
You
set?
just have to break up the bill, that's a problem,
I'm
Gary.
not looking for an answer on this, but can we at least move the ball forward? Gina Green came and spoke in public comment. Is there someone we can have look at this?
Yeah, that's been looked at, I don't remember, there was a change in law. I have the data, I already done the research, Laura had already looked at it a long time ago, before the people that bought it. Because they weren't gonna buy it if they couldn't build on it. So there was a whole bunch of stuff done then through a real estate agent and town council. But I can find it and,
Forward it.
yeah.
Okay. I think that's
I just
fine.
said, yeah, if there's somebody we could hand this to,
Yeah.
Yeah, but the research was done.
okay, that's great.
You gonna run with it?
Yeah, I have it upstairs, cause we had to
Okay.
make sure somebody could build on it, and that's when I found out the law changed in date-wise.
Okay.
I'm done.
All right.
That's, good for bringing that back up, because that would have fallen in the cracks.
Ricky, I got one
for sure.
thing.
Oh.
I went up to look at the issue with the stone wall up on Quaker Street,
Okay,
and there's actually three openings on that. There always has been, three. There's one down close to Doug Alwine's house. There's one on the other end that they, Weatherby put in a roadway into that house when he built it, and there was one in the center, roughly. And I think all he's doing is filling that in. I don't
the
think,
one in the center has since been removed, it's been filled in with rocks.
he's filling it in with rocks.
That's already done.
Well, it's not all done.
The middle one is,
It's not up to
I
the
drive
top.
by it every morning.
Yeah, it's not up to the top of the rest of the stone walls. It is.
No, but there's.
He's closing it
There's
in.
multiple stones on
Yeah,
top of it.
right. He's closing in because it was a byway.
Right, but it's,
He can close it in. He just can't take them down. You can't take stone walls down, but I believe you can close a byway off if you don't want to use it. There's three right over in North Ware on one piece of property, just so you know.
ordinance, March 11th, 2003. Shall the town vote to adopt the following ordinance? No person shall deface, alter the location, or remove any stone wall which is made for the purpose of marking a boundary of, or which borders any town, any road in the town of Ware, except with written consent of the planning board and the board of selectmen. That's the ordinance.
To remove.
Alter, move, change the boundary.
Well, I feel like I should say my piece, if we're gonna keep talking about it.
Well, I'm just, yeah, go ahead.
I'm just telling you.
That's
There's
the
three
ordinance.
byways up there.
That's the ordinance.
That's all I'm telling you.
So, good?
Yeah, I mean, this is regarding Travis Corcoran, who has come before us recently, and I guess since I was out sick on the 11th, or I would have said this then, but he and I have become pretty good friends, so I made the board aware of that at the time, and anything that comes up regarding him, I'm gonna make sure to abstain from voting on all that.
So again, I'm not really very familiar with the whole situation up there, but when Mr. Cochran came to talk to us, I thought the statement was that he had done nothing to the walls.
He had not removed them.
He had not removed anything, is what he said.
Okay, so that's the verbiage. Okay.
Yeah.
But in,
He's not altering the
Sense.
stone wall, he's actually filling a byway in, I believe. And I don't know what legal
so,
stuff is. I don't know enough about it. I'm just telling you what he's done, I think.
And what you just read didn't say alter, I don't have, you know.
I don't have
like for the reason I just said, you know, I don't wanna get
yeah, and
opinionated about it, but you didn't read the word alter.
no, what it is it says alter the location or remove any stone.
Right,
He hasn't
Shall
done,
not deface, alter the location, or remove any stone.
right.
So he's not altering the location.
he's not altering the location, he
So
hasn't
he's not
moved.
moving it like,
No.
I have neighbors that have moved walls too.
You can add to a wall you want. Some people shouldn't because it don't look good, but.
No.
And I don't know what the difference between adding and taking away, but you can't.
But to an extent of add, what do you mean? To the sides or to the top? To the sides,
They can do anything you want.
sides you're
Well,
changing the boundary.
Yeah, no, it's
Well.
inside, right.
Right, sides you're changing the boundary.
Well, if you go off onto somebody else's property.
Okay, but if it's sides, it's altering, correct?
But if they're also in
If
between
you
the
go
gap
10 feet
where-
high, you haven't changed the boundary, right?
Right,
But if you go 10 feet wide, you've changed the boundary.
Right.
Correct?
Right.
and he hasn't done that, has he?
I ain't gonna look at it.
What are the so if he's continuing to work on the wall, I haven't gone up to look at it, but he's continuing to work on the wall.
Take a drive-by. Take a drive-by and we can
He's,
chat further.
yeah, it appears he's trying to close that center byway.
He has.
Yeah, he's closed it so you can't go through anymore, the center byway.
So this is the barway that's on Quaker Street?
Yeah, it's,
Yeah, there's three of them. This is the driveway, a center one, and then a far one, closer to West Quaker.
Okay.
Yeah, so. All
Take
right,
a driveway.
okay, we have two non-publics. We have one under A and C, and we have another one under, I believe it's,
Excuse me.
hold on.
Can I talk while you're doing that?
Yep,
To the work session agenda, you want me to just continue and make it?
Under
you guys
L.
can pick through it?
under L, is the second one.
Yeah.
I mean, I've already listed on the back, do you want me to, other than the solid waste one?
Yeah, I think everything you list other than solid waste is fine.
You guys can, some of them are very simple.
Yeah, I think the list you have under, except, with the exception of solid waste, which we know is gonna roll into something bigger.
Right, no,
And,
I'll just
and the
take that.
purchasing policy
I'm gonna
update,
add the purchasing policy.
and
where
that
was
should be,
it?
that will complete the next work session. Unless there's a new hire that comes
Yeah.
in.
And then the manifest,
Mhm.
gotcha. Thank you.
Yep.
It was great to see all that come in. So I felt like, it's getting flooded with emails. It's like, man,
Yeah.
getting
On-
stuff done, like.
On
all-
it,
like
yeah.
all
You told me
last
that
week.
many times, you're like, I'm on it. I'm like, good, excellent,
Nice
we'll
try.
take it. So, all right, yeah, okay. We'll go into non-public under RSA 91A3, Roman numeral 2, A and C. Is there a second? Moved and
Second.
seconded, all in favor? Roll call, yes?
Yes.
Okay, we'll be going into a second non-public under L, and then we will be adjourning after that.
Second.
Well, not yet,
Okay.
later,
Oh, we had to make it after, we had to come out and go in
right,
that yet.
exactly.